I'm actually fucking fuming right now. You probably can't tell because trying to read my emotions is like trying to read hieroglyphics, but take my word for it. I'm more upset than Dan Bilzerian finding out about taxes. I'm genuinely fucking livid. Let me explain why I'm so mad. Yesterday, I covered the very disturbing topic of the animal abuse community on YouTube, all kind of fostered because of YouTube's reluctance to ban an account called Pollution Entertainment that was notorious for murdering his cats on camera and making videos torturing them posted onto YouTube. I'd like to add he never got a strike for any of those videos. Those videos were never even removed by YouTube. He deleted them himself. And even though authorities were involved and mainstream media picked it up and the entire platform rallied against pollution, begging YouTube to take action, to this day, 2 years later, his account is still up. And yesterday I talked about that and the consequence of leaving that account up, and it's that he's inspired an entire community of animal abusers to murder their cats on YouTube and post videos of it. It spawned an entire trend, and it's disturbing, it's sad, it's despicable, it's fucking sickening, and YouTube should lose sleep over it, but they won't because they're still just going to have wet dreams about this algorithm that somehow they believe keeps them safe and is benevolent, doing a great job, even though it is beyond flawed and rarely ever gets anything right. As a little update to the video I made yesterday, one of the accounts I showed, Angela Alvarez, has been terminated, so that's some good news. At least one of them's down. It's absolutely fucking deplorable, and I'm only scratching the surface. There's another massive trend with channels that have hundreds of thousands of subs where they pretend they're rescuing animals from, like, truck tires. There's one big one in particular. A channel will put puppies and dogs under truck tires, run over the dogs a little bit while the dog's screaming. They'll turn on the camera, run over, and rescue it for the sake of their YouTube views. It's fucking disgusting stuff, and it's pretty clear that they put the animals in these positions to rescue them. They'll throw them in snakes and be like, holy shit, get these snakes off, we're trying to save a dog, look how great this is, thumbs up, don't forget. They don't, these channels don't even do a good job of making it seem like they're actually rescuing animals. They'll have a video like, holy shit, this German Shepherd puppy tried to hang itself in my basement. They'll have the fucking dog in a noose and be like, holy shit, get down from there, what are you thinking, suicide's not the answer. And then take the dog down, the dog's really in fucking rough shape because of this, and then they'll try and make it be some kind of happy, uplifting video, even though it's clear that these people are evil. YouTube has basically become live leak for animals. There's just so much terrible shit in regards to hurting animals on the platform, and I just don't understand why YouTube keeps turning a blind eye to it, it feels like, because they still haven't even addressed the pollution thing. I really just don't get YouTube's priorities. They are so quick to ban a channel like Leafy is here because he made too many Pokemon videos, but they will take their sweet fucking time in actually addressing real crimes like child abuse. And you remember Daddy05, the family that was abusing their children for views and subscribers on YouTube for a long time? Authorities had to fucking like beg YouTube to do something about it before they actually finally acted on it. They just seem to be so reluctant to actually address real crimes and problems like animal abuse and child abuse. It really feels like they just don't give a fuck. At least not about things that matter. So a few days ago, almost a week ago now, one of my videos was taken down called Road Rager Learns a Hard Lesson. It's a fake staged video in a Russian dash cam where a man gets out of his car, bangs on a van's window, and then SpongeBob, Mickey Mouse, the squirrel from Ice Age, and some purple ass-beating elephant cartoon character all get out of the van. It's mascots, and then they get into a little fight and then run away, and that's the end of the video. I was just making jokes about it, and YouTube removed it for violent and graphic content. In what is clearly a staged, viral YouTube video that 5 years ago was huge, there are still dozens, if not hundreds of uploads of the exact same video still on YouTube with no issue, and people talking about it with no issue. For some reason, they have decided to target mine. And okay, it's happened in the past, I understand mistakes happen, so I appealed it. Well, within 2 days, it was rejected. Okay, so I take it up the ladder. As I've mentioned before with my company, Human Media Group, we actually work very closely with YouTube and have had nothing but a positive relationship with them. The partnership division is great. My YouTube partner contact has been absolutely wonderful. The sports and entertainment department at YouTube we work very closely with at Human Media Group has been fucking great. But when I took this to them, this is out of their hands. This is not any of their departments. This goes to some fucking rogue syndicate Illuminati shadow Splinter Cell division that I guess they just lock in cells or trap in dark cages for decades until they lose touch with humanity and they treat them like zoo animals, because this department is so disconnected from the most basic understanding of human concepts. They believed my road rage video was genuine, shocking, disgusting, and overwhelmingly disturbing to the point that it needed to be removed from the platform. Which is fucking weird that they felt that way about a staged road rage video, but don't feel that for videos where their animals are being brutally murdered by baseball bats and blood and guts are flying all over the fucking place, even in the thumbnail. It's weird that they feel that for a fake road rage incident where SpongeBob is throwing a few slaps to a man. It's unbelievable to me. Now, again, I mentioned the great departments we work with at YouTube. In fact, I'd argue the majority of YouTube genuinely does care from behind the scenes. I think a lot of the departments are really on the side of creators and want to make it better. But there is a few groups like this one in particular that just completely ruin it and ruin YouTube's reputation and image as a result of it. Now, all of these departments are really isolated from one another, so everyone I've talked to at YouTube doesn't have like a direct means of communication with this manual review team. They only talk through emails or like pigeon carriers. I really don't even know. They don't have a way of actually having a one-on-one communication conversation or anything except through email. Which right away represents a problem. When everyone's not on the same page or the same team with the same understanding of what is and isn't allowed, that's already a problem. If they're not easily accessible and you can only talk to them through email, that's not good. Everyone I talked to didn't agree with this decision that they've made here. And I'm not even convinced that this manual review team has actual human beings on it. Maybe I've watched too many conspiracy theories, so I got a big old tinfoil condom now. But I really feel like it's some kind of AI, just another algorithm or some kind of fucking neural network looking at these things and making these decisions. Me even go one step further, maybe they're deep faking Keanu Reeves' face on the body of a mannequin at the office to trick people into thinking there's a human being working in this department. I really don't know, because it would take an actual human being only one watch of my video to recognize that the video is fake and it's not intended to be shocking or disgusting. It's just meant for jokes. In the video, none of the punches even connect. All the punches are pulled. All the kicks are pulled. This is actually what it looks like in drama club when you're simulating a fight. The video is a staged stunt, and it takes a human being only one watch of the video to recognize that, even if you don't look into it, which you can, and find that it's fake. It's unbelievable to me that they would not only maintain this decision, but say that this is such an extreme case of shocking and disgusting content that it needed to be removed, and I needed to be punished with a strike on my channel for it. The way they make it sound makes it feel like I'd have a better chance of getting in contact with this team if I wrote my problem on a fucking rock and threw it as hard as I could out my window. Maybe then they'd actually see the problem. Every department I've talked to has no direct means of communication with them, and I'm talking heads of these departments have no way of getting in fucking contact with this fucking group here. You know how alarming that is? They actually shared with me the message they sent in regards to the road rage video they took down. It's 2 lines. It is one line that says, "We are maintaining our decision to keep the video down," and the second line is a copy and paste of the rules regarding shocking content that's taken right off the Google help page. That's it. There's no conversation. There's no proof that a human being even wrote that email. It is literally looking like an automated reply. That is what they sent to a fucking head of one of these departments who tried to get in contact and fix this issue. That is a problem. In an act of desperation, I did what any sad Boy Scout would do. I tweeted at YouTube. I gave it a whirl to see what that would do. And they responded saying they look into it and thanks for my patience. And you know what? I don't expect the answer to change. In fact, I'm so confident it won't that I've already made this before they give me their final answer. And I imagine by the time I upload this, they will have already said on Twitter publicly that the video violates their policy and that I should review their terms of service or something similar to that effect. I've never done this shit before, but I really think YouTube needs to answer for what is going on with this manual review team. There is so much bullshit and so much that doesn't make sense. Why won't they ban animal abuse like Pollution Entertainment's channel? Why are they allowing that to persist and allow these videos of animal abuse to get hundreds of thousands of subscribers and views across their platform? What is wrong with their manual review department where they view a clearly staged road rage incident as some kind of shocking, disturbing video, despite the fact that there's hundreds of other videos of the exact same incident that don't have a problem? There are so many things that I think YouTube needs to change. So for the first time in my life, I actually do think a hashtag does need to be trending. Maybe they'll listen to that. I don't know if they ever have in the past because I don't really pay attention to Twitter hashtags, but I was hoping if something like hashtag answer us YouTube could get trending, maybe then they'd pay attention, because it seems like the only way to ever even get contact with YouTube for most people is through Twitter by adding them at Team YouTube. So maybe they do pay attention to Twitter, and I would love if they would at least listen. I think I can speak for most people when I say we want some fucking answers from YouTube. Why won't they ban an account like Pollution Entertainment that would adopt cats just to murder them on his YouTube channel? Why is that still up? Why don't they have a problem with animal abuse, but they'll ban other channels for much more innocent content at the drop of a hat? What is going on with the manual review team? Why is every department so isolated from each other where it seems like nobody at YouTube is on the same fucking page? We want some goddamn answers, so I would love to see if hashtag AnswerUsYouTube could do anything. I doubt it. YouTube has become an absolute virtuoso when it comes to ignoring everyone. So I guarantee, even if every fucking world leader came together to ask YouTube a question, they'd put their fingers in their fucking ears and just pretend they didn't hear it. But maybe hashtag AnswerUsYouTube could do something good, maybe. But overall, I just wanted to rant. I wanted to vent because this shit is just so frustrating. That's it. See ya. I don't think I've ever shared a story about myself so embarrassing that it changes the way you look at me. I've shared a lot of embarrassing stories with girls and shit that I've had in the past, but nothing that's so goddamn game-changingly cringe-inducing that you vomit and think less of me until today. I was trying to think of a story that I wanted to talk about because I wanted to tell a really embarrassing one today, but I wanted to like amp this shit up to like the highest fucking level I could. So I was going to my past, of which there is a myriad of embarrassing stories to choose, but I wanted to find the perfect one. And then I remembered something that made me sick to my goddamn stomach, so I can't wait to share it with all of you. So to preface this happened in high school. The year is 2011. This was right after my third lung collapse. If you've been following me for a while, you know my lung collapsed 3 times. And the last time it happened was 2011. Well, in 2011, I got surgery to have it fixed. And before I went into surgery, there was a girl I had a crush on that had just added me back on Facebook. And I decided I'd send her like this goddamn scholarly "oorah, I love you" message to her. And we had never spoken. So this girl and I never spoke once in our lives, not even by accident. If I farted somewhere in school, there's no way she would ever fucking smell it because we were never even close to each other in any sense of the word. The only reason we even knew about each other, or rather the only reason I knew about her, was because she was a cheerleader and I played basketball. Other than that, no communication, literally not even eye contact. And yet for some reason, in 2011, I sent this girl the most disgustingly embarrassing messages when I was in the hospital. I haven't read them. I screenshotted them today, and I sent them to myself so I could read them to you today, and we can experience this together as a lesson in how not to ever approach a woman in any way. So allow me, please. Pickup artist legend Charlie is going to guide you through the how-don'ts, the do-nots of women. So let's go ahead and get into these messages here. So ace pussy slaying god Charles in 2011 leads with, "I know you and I have never talked, but I just wanted to tell you that you are one of the most beautiful girls I have ever seen." Now some of you might hear that and think I came on a little too strong. Looking back on it now, hindsight's 2020, I don't think I came on strong enough. I should have led with "I love you." Signed Charles, and then like a little kiss, and then maybe go from there. So after I said this, she responds with a simple question mark. Nothing else, just one character, a question mark. I was already in the hospital, but if I wasn't, that right there would have sent me into the hospital with fucking cardiac arrest. That shit hurt so goddamn bad at the time. But I mean, what can you expect when someone leads with some shit like this? This is the kind of shit you see on Twitter with like a bad English associated with it, with a "send bobs and bitch lasagna, please, vagina look good with penis" and stuff like that. It's a creepy message. Any girl should respond with a question mark or nothing at all. But anyway, my spirits weren't deterred. I continued. "Yeah, I'm in the hospital and just said fuck it. It's worth a try. You probably don't think the same. You probably don't think the same about me, but I just wanted to say that." That's some nice guy shit right there. Jesus Christ. Well, this is pretty fucking bad. Let's keep going. To that she says, "Oh, I'm sorry," frowny face, "but thanks, I guess. Why are you in the hospital?" I'm surprised she even believed I was in the hospital, to be honest. You got a fucking stranger coming at you, pretending like he's going off to war and sending a love letter out there like it's some goddamn type of anime. If someone sent me shit like this, I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, buddy. I'm sure you're in the hospital. What do you have? Small dick syndrome going on? There's no cure. Get out of my DMs. I have recurrent pneumothorax in my left lung. It has collapsed 3 times, and tomorrow I have surgery to repair it." Sad violins playing, I'm sure, when I was typing this. "I just wanted to tell you that before I had the surgery. I know that it is..." Excuse me, I've got to scroll to the next one. It's a little out of order. 2019 Charlie clearly doesn't know how to fucking screenshot things in order. Here we go. "I know that it is a weird way to start a conversation. I also know that I came on way too strong telling you that. self-awareness, key. Even back then I had it. Even back then I'm like, Jesus, I'm sounding really fucking weird, but I'm still going for it. Didn't stop me. Should have stopped me, to be honest. Yeah, that's the lesson to take away here. Don't do this. You know, at this, when you're starting to recognize, like, holy shit, this is too strong and I'm being very weird, just stop. Then she says something very odd. On behalf of all the YouTube comments, Charles, I hope you cut your hair. I'm not cutting my hair. She didn't say that. I'm just telling you, stop telling me to fucking cut my hair. I want to see what it looks like real long. I want to look like a goddamn lead singer in a mid-2000s emo band. Just let me fucking have this, alright? So anyway, she asked about the surgery and shit. Nothing to talk about there. But then, as we're starting to wrap up, I say, just wondering, do you know who I am? If you don't, I bet this is the most fucked up conversation you've ever been a part of. I mean, yeah, that's definitely a fucked up way of going about things, past Charles. Jesus Christ. I sound like some type of spoiled rich kid. Do you know who my father is? He invented Bing. I'm a big deal. Please, just please love me, please. God damn it. I'm in the hospital. For God's sakes, do you know who I am? God, these are such embarrassing messages. She says, haha, no, I do know who you are. Like, I've seen you, but that's it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that sounds about right. I was a very odd guy. Odd looking, too. I had this really weird my hair looks like shit now, but back then I had an even weirder hairstyle where I shaved all, like, the side, the back, and the top of my head. Like, it was a one with the clippers, but the front was about as long as it is now. So everything was pretty shaven except the bangs. So yeah, I was a fucking lunatic. It'd be hard to forget it'd be hard not to see me and make fun of me. I was one step shy of like a trench coat fedora wearing fucking loser in high school. I really was. So yeah, it makes sense that she at least remembered what I looked like, because I looked like a goddamn fucking psychopath. So to that I said, oh, sorry. I bet this is weird for you, huh? The only way to make things like this not weird is to keep saying, yeah, this is probably weird, right? That way, it takes the tension off. It's like, oh, he's saying it's weird. It can't be weird if he keeps talking about how weird it is. All right, it makes sense. Like, pretty much every fucking line I say in here is about how weird it is, and yet I keep going. To that, she says, I don't mind at all. So then, in closing, this is my finisher. This is my Mortal Kombat fatality. My big grand finale here. All right, cool. Maybe when I get out of here, we can talk more so I can get to know you a little better. I'm not as weird as this conversation makes me seem. You know. Little pro tip to the ladies: don't take someone up on that offer. They most likely are pretty fucking socially inept. I certainly was, 100%. We never talked after this. I can't imagine why, but we never spoke or anything. Nothing ever came of this, unsurprisingly. However, I'm sure if we did, I would have been still just as socially inept talking in person as I was on the Facebook Messenger. So the lesson, ladies and gentlemen, don't be weird. That's always the advice I give to someone going into college and shit. Just don't be weird. Don't be super forward. Don't be super out there. Just be normal conversations. Let things, simmer, develop, sniff things out. Don't just come in there guns blazing, fucking jerking off. I love you. Do you love me? Like, come on. Come on, 2011 Charlie. I look back on shit like this and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I never recognized how bad I was until, you get older. So, it's a pretty embarrassing story. Maybe it's not as embarrassing for listening to it, but for me recollecting on this, it's fucking bad, man. Like, Jesus Christ. That girl was probably scared for her fucking life, thinking I'd be tossing pebbles at her window late at night at like 2 a.m. Hey, did you think about me in the hospital? I'm alright now. You want to talk? Shit, man. Well, that's the end of the story. Another nice tale for the compendium of awful interactions I've had with women, all of which being my fault from my past. So, yeah, fuck yeah. That's it. See ya. I recently got into a massive argument with my own chat about aliens visiting Earth, which is a crazy war to have fought. It was a bloody battle. I'm sure most of you know, because I've talked about it before, my dad is super into aliens. He firmly believes they've helped us build the pyramids, given us fiber optic internet. I'm surprised he hasn't started talking about aliens, how they farted 5G onto our planet or something. Like, he's big into the aliens thing and always has been since I was a kid. So I've been inundated with all kinds of alien stuff ever since I was young. So I have loved the field, but I have never been a believer that aliens have ever visited this planet, ever. I do think there is life outside of our planet, obviously, in the massive, unfathomably huge scope of the universe. I think it's unlikely there's no other life out there, but I don't think it's ever visited us. It would have to have somehow found fast and light travel, wormhole, something, which is so far above our comprehension that if they did actually do it, we wouldn't have even been able to process them visiting us, I imagine. Like, it is just so well beyond us that I just don't think it's happened. So I have been firmly against the idea that aliens have visited us, but I've always been open-minded in wanting it to be true. I would love to be able to fist bump my dad, be like, hey, Pops, you were right. And here's proof of the aliens having visited us. I did a keg stand with one of them at my frat brother's last party. Like, that'd be great, you know? But I've just never seen any compelling evidence about it. And we got to talking about it on stream, and a couple of chatters were very adamant that I was off my gourd for not believing every single abduction story ever told and every single sighting ever made, including the recent Las Vegas one, which was confirmed to just be casino lights reflected in the fucking sky, but they're writing that off as it was like a cover-up for aliens. Like, it's outrageous. In order to convert me to their side, to believe in them, to persuade me, they would tell like these anecdotes. Like, I read this story once on these forums where, you know, this guy's friend Eric was playing basketball in his driveway one evening, and then all of a sudden everything went white and his memory was erased, but he had his butthole prolapse. Like, the anal prolapse is signs of the aliens having experimented on him, and he lost 6 hours of memories. How is that proof? Why am I supposed to take that at face value? But they would drop these things like the Eric butthole incident and have me look it up and be like, how can you not believe us? This is ridiculous. You're spitting in the face of real proof. So I was losing my goddamn mind having this argument with them, and eventually we ended up going to something called like the Ariel School incident, which is a school in Zimbabwe which claims to have been visited by aliens, where 62 school children drew in crayon their encounter with a UFO and aliens who warned them about the future. And I got called crazy for doubting the legitimacy of it because you have 62 school students that drew very different crayon drawings that don't agree with one another. Some of the drawings have them coming down in a goddamn space potato. Others have like this elaborate, huge UFO, very generic. And then the aliens, they can't even agree on what they looked like. Some claim that they had long black hair, so literally fucking looking like me coming out of the spaceship. Some of them drew the aliens bald, like very generic alien baldness. Like, none of the kids' drawings even like agree with others. Like, it's such weak evidence, but they're using it as fact. Like, how could anyone doubt us when this exists? So I'm just going to show you some of the clips from the stream because it got heated. And then we opened Pandora's box and started talking about warp drives for some reason. It got off the rails. It got a little crazy. So I just wanted to show some of that. But I want to make it clear. I would love if there was real compelling evidence of aliens having visited us. Like actual encounters with aliens, that'd be great. And there have been government-released documents and footage from pilots and shit from unidentified flying aircrafts, this unidentified air phenomenon, but none of it's like aliens per se. It's just we don't fully understand exactly how it works, so it's unidentified as of the moment. It's never definitive proof of aliens being here. It's just we don't have a full explanation on it yet. But it could be. Yeah, it could be, and I find that stuff to be pretty interesting. But I don't view that as, hey, here's proof that extraterrestrials are here for some reason. But anyway, let me just show you how the stream went. A leading UFO expert has investigated dozens of sightings over an impressive 45-year career and says aliens don't come in peace and have an agenda. I wonder what the agenda is. They come down here just to read our dank memes, shitpost on Twitter. I wouldn't say they're peaceful due to the thousands of UFO abductions worldwide. I woke up and my ass is sore. Damn you, aliens! Not again! I've been a big fan of aliens shit, UFO investigative shit for a long time. I have never once read, watched, or listened to a compelling abduction story that made me be like, this man actually he got abducted. At no point did I ever once even remotely come close to believing any of the abduction stories. Have you seen that documentary about a guy with 9 alien kids? What is that? What are we talking? What? No, I can't say I've seen that. What the fuck does that? He has 9 kids with extraterrestrials? This man's spreading the humanity seed throughout the cosmos? There were 30 plus kids who saw aliens at their school and drew them. If there is one group that I trust more than anyone, it's kids. They're notorious for not having an imagination and not just going with what everyone else is doing. That's what I would hinge my alien evidence on, is children's drawings. Being in all black, possibly showing medium long black hair. Were the aliens just clones of me or something? What do you mean? The aliens have normal human hair? Well, there's no hair here. One of them was bald, I guess. Maybe he got made fun of on the ship. Not only would the beings have to have somehow discovered faster than light travel to make it here, it would have somehow had to elude everyone else's gaze and have only a couple people, in this case 62 school children, see them. Like, the amount of crazy coincidence that must all occur for only a small group to see that is very unlikely. I'm ready to... There is nobody on the planet that wants alien encounters to be real more than me. If this has compelling evidence, I would be elated. I would love that. I want to believe. But it is so unbelievably unlikely, and all of the evidence is so shit that it's impossible, in good conscience, to believe that there are aliens that visit us periodically. The circumstances for such a thing to be true are very, 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 very low possibility. So for multiple days, there have been headlines of UFOs hovering over the skies of Zimbabwe. And the only evidence we have is some children's drawings. Surely that would be major fucking news. And also, why would the aliens just be hovering over Zimbabwe? What are they doing there? They're just hovering there, doing nothing. Standing there menacingly like the hash-slinging slasher. What would be the purpose? Why would they have come there? Let's go down this for a minute. So the aliens came here to warn us about the future. And the optimal way of warning us was to go to a small school in Zimbabwe and tell a group of children. That was the best way of delivering this warning of the future? They were talking about COVID. Imagine this is all very true. The aliens actually did just fucking boot, scoot, and boogie all the way down to Earth just to land here and be like, hey, there's this little thing called COVID. I'm letting you know it's right around the corner. No good. No good. Alright, good luck with that. We're out. We've done our job. Message delivered. I don't think they were visited by aliens warning us about the future. Let's play with that for just a moment. Going back to that. Not only were they intergalactic travelers, they're fucking time travelers, warning us about our future. That's another crazy technological leap. And if they're that smart, that advanced, why would they tell a group of children at a small school? And also, why would they ever even make direct contact with people? They could just transmit the message. There's millions of cases. So what you've just shown to me is you believe what everyone says. You don't believe anyone's making things up. You don't believe in people having, for example, a sleep terror, which a lot of it boils down to sleep paralysis, where they have these very real feelings at night, where they're half asleep, half dreaming, and a lot of it gets chalked up to sleep paralysis. So you don't believe in any of that. You don't believe in mass hysteria, I would imagine then. You don't believe in manifested group thinking, where if someone believes they saw something, other people mysteriously start to have memories or visions of the same thing. You just take everything at face value, and no one's ever lying. Oh, wow. Jesus, you're having a full meltdown. Anal probing isn't even a real thing, you moron. You get all your UFO info from fucking movies and TV. You get all of your UFO info from fucking TV too! What do you mean? All of your sightings are on TV. What are you fucking talking about? And then you said reptilians are part of the aliens. And faster than light is an outdated theory. Warp drives are proven. You're misinformed. What are you... What? Are you having an episode of psychosis? Jack Sarfati talks about the technology behind warp drives. Who mentioned fucking warp drives? I don't know why you're harping on that subject. That word had not left my mouth until I read your comment history of your 86 message meltdown. I'm not talking about fucking warp drives! Why do I need to do research on warp drives? That goddamn name didn't leave my mouth. He brought it up. But warp drives are an important part of alien lore. Maybe, but I wasn't talking about fucking warp drives. Jesus Christ. You asked for answers. On what? Warp drive? When did I ask for answers on warp drive? I want alien evidence. What the fuck are you talking about? Who am I talking? That is evidence? So, let's assume every alien has their own warp drive motorcycle. Why are they visiting trailer parks and fucking small schools to warn us about the future, then only telling children? That isn't an answer. You weirdo. That chatter didn't read jack shit. It's theoretical physicist, meaning it hasn't been put into effect and there's no way to test any theories. I don't care about warp drives if they're real or not. God damn it. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, it's shameful to admit this, but I actually fell for one of the oldest scams in the book live on stream a few days ago. Many of you know that one of my favorite streaming activities is doing a bad games night. It's where I dumpster dive through Steam's new releases to find super stinkers that nobody has ever heard of and nobody's ever played. It's a lot of fun to find enjoyably terrible games, and a lot of times I'm the first and only person to ever beat the game, which means I also end up being a speedrun champion in the game. Now, while doing a bad game nights 2 days ago, I found a game called Greed of Man. Looking back on it all now, with hindsight being 2020, I recognize that the name Greed of Man was actually a subtle little joke from the developer laughing in the face of everyone who bought the game, spitting on them, literally giving them a wedgie. It's shocking how deep this rabbit hole went, and I certainly didn't expect it. So, Greed of Man looked like just a potentially fun, shitty game. It was a very low-effort, asset-flip, open-world game with VoIP, and it had overwhelmingly negative reviews, so it immediately caught my eye. It looked like it could be fun shitty, which I always enjoy. And it also happened to cost $30. The hubris to charge $30 for something that took less than 30 minutes to develop. I thought there was potential to have a very fun shitty game here, so I forked over the clams. And luckily, I caught it at the right time. It was on sale, so it was only $20. What a massive saving. $20 for the worst experience I've ever had on Bad Games Night. The game's not a scam just because it's bad. I'm going to get into it in a moment. It's a legitimate, genuine scam by all definitions. So, anyway, Mr. Krabs charges $30 for this game. I play it. I recognize the game is really bad, and I just wanted to see what the community was saying about it, because it wasn't just bad, it was empty. There was nothing to do, nothing worked, it was non-functional. So I went to the Steam forums just to see what the hubbub was about, and it turns out this game was actually developed by a TikTok star. His name is Nick the User, and he is apparently notorious for making fake games and hosing his audience down for money, buying into the idea that he's a great game developer releasing hit products, fucking bangers. But he's apparently released a handful of games, none of which he ever actually completed, but made quite a bit of money off the back of his audience, and Greed of Man was his latest endeavor into this fucking swamp that he's created. So, Greed of Man was a game that never was supposed to even be completed in the first place, and he spent a couple months hyping up Greed of Man on TikTok, saying that he's releasing the next GTA 6 online, and it's going to be free to play. Greed of Man is going to be free to play. The game is free. And it turns out, The game wasn't free. He dropped it for $30 fucking. And actually, as of 5 hours ago, as of recording this, Nick said, listen, I heard all of your feedback. I'm lowering the price from $30 to $10. What a fucking angel. But anyway, so he lied about it being free and he charged a lot for it. But the reason it's a scam isn't just because of the blatant false advertising or the stealing of other developers' assets against their will and getting blasted for it, getting called out publicly for the stolen assets. But he actually does something else here that is actually a fucking phishing scam, pretty much. I don't want to spoil the surprise, so let me just show you the stream clips from when I got scammed live. I'm gonna check this one out. I want to see what kind of town they've got cooked up over there right now. So it's just Gmod RP. Doesn't really seem Gmod-esque. Alright, let's see how greedy these men are. They got Daft Punk on the banner there, that's kind of hype. This is so tedious. Alright, let's get it. Let me make sure this shit isn't like open mic or something. Is this a player? No, this is the item manager, the manager. How do I get this off my screen? I can see myself moving around here in the fog. Alright, so there's apparently 8 players in this bitch. I wanna go find them. Oh, there's one. Oh, he's gonna tase me. How do I put my hands up? Wonder what he's gonna do. Does he work here? How does he have a job here? It wouldn't let me. You have to be in uniform. Well, he didn't give me a fucking uniform. Where am I supposed to get it? Enjoy your dough, Erica. God, this place is popping off. This guy's come over here and then blue screened in his brain, I guess. Where are the other players at? God, I hope it's not open mic. I'd be so embarrassed. Oh, I heard a shot. Did that come from outside, or did one of the remaining 7 players just kill himself in one of the hotel rooms here? I can't believe I spent $20 on this. I'm ending it. I've had enough. No, it's just not free. It's $20 and it was on sale. Oh my god, how big is this building? Jesus. Imagine getting this room here. They were really ambitious. They thought they'd have a huge player base. Man, imagine being the stupid asshole that buys this penthouse suite. There's no elevator or anything quick to get down, so here comes a 20-minute run downstairs. What are the reviews like on this game? Hold on. Is there something I'm missing? I know it has overwhelmingly negative reviews, but there's got to be something to it, right? There's got to be something. So everything is not recommended. I cannot recommend this game for 2 simple reasons. Why the fuck are we used to create an account by using login Steam on your website? It's true, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, dude's got my fucking Steam info now, I guess. This is just a disaster. You can't really do anything. This is just a scam game. I didn't play much, but can already see the game's bad. Don't support Nick. He's a scammer and not even a real game developer. He abandoned his only 2 other games and already gave up on this game before stating he's in way over his head. He heavily advertised this game as free just a few months ago and is now making $3K a month on Patreon for making literal garbage. Wait, how deep does this rabbit hole go?
I'd like to introduce you all to...
What the fuck? Did I just fall for a big scam? Well, I mean, the game sucks ass. Like, there's nothing to do here. It is a scam, but, like, is it, like, a well-known scam? This TikTok star is scamming his audience with fake games. I fell for a scam. I'm not his audience, and I still got scammed.
To Nick, a self-proclaimed game developer
Son of a
who has amassed
bitch.
a following of almost 750,000 followers on TikTok, promoting his now-released early access title called Greed of Man.
Oh, that's what I'm playing right now.
The developer, I don't say that lightly.
I can't believe it. Man, bad game night got me scammed.
Space on September 14th,
Yeah,
2021.
I have
He was
to
adding a
change
car
my
to
shit
his
here.
game called Tomorrow's Past.
Existed GTA Online. And this became a huge issue as of a couple weeks ago when I realized that my workflow was not going to finish this game in time. This game would take...
In time for what, man? Like, what? You don't work for a publisher. You're your own boss. In time for what? What are you talking about, brother? God, I got scammed by a 16-year-old surfer frat douchebag. That was $20 right down the shitter, too. Yeah, I'm just gonna refund it. But he still gets the $20, unfortunately. Man! And it looks so good, too. To think, if only a developer who cared had their hands on this, they could make Catnap Homes a real success. I'll take one more last look around this beautiful world before saying my goodbyes to it. Damn you, Nick! Damn you! Oh my god, there's another victim of the scam. That's probably Nick himself. Charles, turn off that video. It's a lie. The game's great. I'm still working on it. Give me time. Hey. Hey, Buster, can you hear me? It's supposed to be like an RP style game, but there's no settings for like voice, so I'm guessing that's not actually here. And there's also only one audio setting, which is voice, but with no way of getting voice. Hey, you stupid asshole, stop. If you can hear me, stop running. I'll give you 100 Robux if you stop running. Yeah, if he could hear me, he would have stopped for sure on the Robux. Let's see what he does. There's two of you? No, these have to be bots. No way. No way. No shot. Bots. Okay. I'm gonna refund this so that way Nick doesn't get all of my $20 here. I want to see how much how often he scams. Hold on, what's his TikTok doing right now? Because this is brand spanking new scam here. This is fresh off the press. I was one of the early adopter victims here. That doesn't feel good. Yeah, I'm gonna go change my shit in just a second. Hold on. Okay, refund notice is in. Let me change my Steam information. I think, let me run through how I think this goes. I think what's happened here is Nick has made games like this, which are basically like GTA Online or Roblox open world, come in, come on. And what happens is when you try and play the game, you have to sign up on his website, which I did, and you have to link your Steam, which I did, like an absolute buffoon. So I think what he does then is he maybe sells your information somewhere. I don't think he uses it. Like, I don't think he actually logs into accounts to steal things. I think he's just more of a data harvester type. That's my guess.
So, Big Fry just reviewed
Here he's addressing the scam video that I had up just a minute ago.
my game, calling me a scammer. Now, I'm a 17-year-old in high school, so...
I got scammed by a fucking 17-year-old! God! Jesus! I was kidding about calling him 16. He's actually a 17-year-old.
I don't exactly have all the time in the world to be developing. So, the fact that this adult that does YouTube video reviews on scam games is going to take my small project and call it a scam simply because the audience grew so fast and I gained so much traction and I didn't deliver like the next GTA 6.
What?
And again, the game's in early access state. I'm not done with it. I just wanted to get a couple people in to try testing things and...
Testing what things? Nothing worked. It was an empty world that I couldn't interact with anything. This is literally... He's just lying. It's $20 for an open asset world. All just asset flips. And you can't even interact with anything because it doesn't work.
bug fixing and adding new ideas that they come up with. And that's why the server sizes were only like 16 people. I wasn't expecting thousands of people that just jump into the game right away. So my
Thousands of people didn't jump into the game. You had a peak player count of like 50. Brother.
servers could not keep up. And you can't be comparing my game to like extremely successful and long-lived developments and projects by big companies.
No one is.
And
You
again,
didn't make a
I'm
game.
high schooler. I'm still living life. This isn't the only thing I do. Like, you can't be calling my game a scam just because I didn't deliver some extremely amazing product to you.
You didn't deliver a product.
It honestly is a passion project of mine that I was just doing for fun, and it just so happened to gain a ton of traction. And it's kind of messed up to call it a scam, too, because scams are something where you get your money taken and you don't get anything out of it.
That's exactly. You just defined your game. I am now one of the victims here. That is your game. It is the textbook definition of a scam that you just recited.
It's a Steam game. You can buy the game, and if you don't like it, you refund it. It's not a scam. You keep your money. But I know
did
he
refund
gets his
it.
power trip by calling things shit and calling things scams, so I'll let him do his thing. So,
I found his burner. He even hearted it. I feel for you. The amount of hate is insane for a game that is genuinely good. You shouldn't focus on the hate. It only brings you down. From an account called Anonym. That's absolutely his burner. The game is not genuinely good. It's not a game. It wasn't a game.
But I find it pretty crazy. We went from free to play to this. Is Nick playing?
I don't think so.
So there is VoIP. It's just those two goobers weren't talking to me.
It's like 3 o'clock.
I've been doing bad game nights for fucking 4 years, and I've never had something like that happen. The closest thing I got to scammed in the past was I downloaded a game on Steam that didn't have the like actual executable file in it, which is like, okay, that is a scam, but at the very least it didn't steal my fucking Steam login information. On YouTube, there's an unwritten rule that when violated, it ruins your image forever. It causes irreparable damage to your reputation, and there's really not much you can ever do to get back in the good graces of the platform. That is abusing the copyright takedown system. It's basically a 10 commandment that when broken is a cardinal sin that banishes you straight to the shadow realm in the eyes of everyone who uses YouTube. And unfortunately, a massive YouTuber today took a bite out of that forbidden fruit. His name is Brent Rivera. I actually recently talked about this goofball only 9 days ago. He was recently involved in some medium-rare YouTube beef where he and another YouTuber named Tyler Oliveira were staying at the same haunted hotel that they were milking the tits out of for content. Now, I'm not one to usually believe in the paranormal, but after all of this going around here, I'm starting to think that Brent Rivera really did catch a curse from this hotel. He's now being haunted by a clout demon that's using his body like a fucking fleshlight. A little puppet that's forcing him to say the stupidest shit imaginable and has transformed him into an even bigger douchebag. But anyway, these two YouTubers stayed at the hotel. Tyler Oliveira started trolling Brent a little bit. He was clearly instigating, so he'd go up and like say, hey, do you fake your pranks? Nothing like super mean or aggressive or anything, just like, hey, you fake your pranks, don't you? And Brent would go on the defensive. He'd be like a cornered animal. He'd be like, oh, no, I don't fake my pranks. Do you fake your fucking pranks? And then throughout the night, the two would cross paths in what seemed to be accidental because it's not a huge area. And every time they did cross paths, Brent Rivera and his henchmen would insult Tyler. So it ended up just this horrible look for him where he looks like a piece of shit because he kept insulting Tyler. While Tyler did start it, per se, his was less egregious than everything Brent was doing, so Brent ended up looking significantly worse. It was very petty stuff. I covered it because I thought it was silly, but anyway, that's where it all started. That's why it's important here. So Brent Rivera was getting dunked on by his own community of 4-year-olds who somehow found Tyler's content, or I guess maybe a TikTok of someone dancing while explaining it, must have enlightened them and opened their third eye to the situation, because everyone turned on him. Brent Rivera got a lot of shit tossed at him. A lot of YouTubers started making content around him, and I guess at some point something must have snapped. The nice guy went bad, and Brent Rivera went rogue and started copyright striking and copyright claiming some people's content that was critical of him. And one of those YouTubers is a commentary channel named Dumpy. He's made a couple of videos clowning on Brent for this whole situation, and today posted this video titled Brent Rivera Wants to Delete My Channel, where he goes over what he's been dealing with behind the scenes over the last 12 or so hours, where Brent Rivera or someone that represents him on his team have been filing takedown requests on the content that's been laughing at him. And while those weren't taken down instantly, he did have one piece of content taken down, which was this video here, and it was taken down for harassment, violating the YouTube harassment policy. Now, I haven't seen that video, and I haven't found a re-upload of it, at least not as of right now while I'm recording this, so I can't access it, but I'm inclined to believe that this is a load of dirty barnacles. Calling out shitty behavior isn't harassment. There's nothing wrong with calling out a misbehaving bad actor to the principal's office and disciplining him. As I understand it, Dumpy was just bending him over and taking his hand to his cheeks and spanking him, letting him know that what he's done is cringe, right? Like, that's not that big of a deal. But sometimes there's always going to be big egos and fragile, sensitive, thin-skinned people, like Brent Rivera seems to be, who find this content and get upset about it. And then that broken YouTube copyright system starts to look real appetizing. Like a nice big glass of water while you've been starving in the desert. And they just can't help themselves. Just like Adam and Eve, they just need to take a bite out of that apple. So, either Brent or someone on his team decided to start filing copyright takedown requests, which can result in strikes. Luckily, in Dumpy's case, YouTube actually sided with Dumpy. They made him aware that someone was trying to take down the content, but they ruled in Dumpy's favor that they weren't going to be giving him any strikes for it or anything like that. So big W from YouTube on that, but big fucking L for Brent Rivera or whoever is representing Brent Rivera in this way, whether it's a fan or whether he's using one of those scummy, shady third-party companies that do these takedown requests on behalf of creators. A lot of those stinky companies exist, and it's their entire business model to just slap down all types of content unjustly in order to either bury it or make money off of it for the creator. It's a very awful thing. So it might not have been Brent Rivera himself. It could have been one of those companies, or it could have been like fans that for some reason went to arms, picked up a fucking sword and said, we're going to take down Dumpy because he was mean to the guy that we like. I guess that's also somewhat possible because of how broken YouTube's system is, and they still haven't really bothered to fix it. But me personally, I'm inclined to believe that it is Brent Rivera himself in this case here. At least from what I've seen presented in Dumpy's video, it leads me to believe that it's likely Brent Rivera or someone very close to him. So let me walk you through how this thing usually goes. When a YouTuber makes the decision to go nuclear and start filing these kind of takedown requests, the whole community turns against them. People fucking hate that, for good reason. That's the lowest shit you could sink to. Just stop being a little bitch and accept that not everyone's going to like you. And when you do some dumb, embarrassing shit because your ego bubbles over and you embarrass yourself, people are gonna make fun of you for it. That's the circle of life, baby. That's nature. That's the way God made this world. And the cyberspace as well. I bet even, the Lord was on an alt account kind of laughing about what you did here, because you looked real stupid during it. The point I'm making is, you just move on from it. You don't do this. When you do copyright abuse shenanigans, it is always like sticking your head into a beehive. You are the only one who gets hurt, but you are just too focused on the potential sweetness in that hive, that honey. You got consumed by the idea that you could take down these videos that were being mean and people being mean to you, you could bury it, but what always ends up happening is you make the problem much worse. You escalate it to a much higher degree. If I can turn your attention back to Exhibit A here, I'd like to explain why I think Brent Rivera himself or someone close to him filed this. It's because of these questions that were answered here. So, I don't remember exactly if YouTube always supplies this, but I guess in Dumpy's case they did. So these were questions in regards to the takedowns, why he was filing him. He was claiming that Dumpy used his entire video and basically just re-uploaded it, which is a blatant lie. That's not the case. Dumpy used clips from the videos and talked about it and made fun of him for it. He wasn't just re-uploading raw videos, it was transformative. He was literally giving input every fucking 15, 20 seconds, just showing clips from it to talk about it afterwards. But these were the questions that were answered. How much of your copyrighted work is used? Most of the video were my original videos from my YouTube channel. No other original content from the creator was shown. That is categorically false. This is a DEF CON, Red Alert, Liar Liar, Pants on Fire, Brent Rivera's career is looking dire situation. You can watch any of the videos and see that it is not just mainly his original video, it is Dumpy opining on it. Next question, how is the market for your original work affected by this use? It affects it negatively. That right there is the biggest tip-off for me that flips on the light bulb in my head that tells me Brent Rivera likely filed this, because no self-respecting third-party company that does this professionally on behalf of creators would ever answer that question like that. It's a very concise answer, but it also doesn't even answer the question. The question is, how is the market for your original work affected? And his response was, it affects it negatively. That's like how a child would answer it. I know Brent Rivera makes videos for children, but it seems like he also has the brain of one too. He's stuck in like 3rd grade. You're supposed to explain your reasoning, so it affects it negatively, but how? Why? Like, what exactly is this doing to encroach on you and your original content? How is it stealing from you or ruining your content? And he just gives like fucking 5 words here. Moving on, does this use significantly transform your original work, or does it serve the same purpose? It serves the same purpose. It does not transform it at all. So you didn't watch it at all, is what that tells me. Because how the fuck could it serve the same purpose? It's the exact opposite purpose. The purpose of your original video is to entertain kids. The purpose of Dumpy's video was to take a shit on you. And that's it, like making fun of you for the entertainment. Unless you are saying that the content you make, you are also supposed to be the butt of the joke of, though that I don't think is the case. It doesn't serve the same purpose, not even fucking close. And the fact that he's saying it doesn't transform it at all tells me he didn't watch it, because it is mainly Dumpy talking about him and using some clips to back up his claims. Does this use fall into an exception to copyright protection? Please note that we may share your response with the uploader. No, it isn't fair use since the uploaded did not adjust the content at all and is most of his video. Again, this is structured like a literal child on a fucking 4th grade English assignment here. No professional will be answering these questions this way, especially since this is a legal matter. When you file something like this, it is literally a legal matter, and he is answering these things and can't even be bothered to get the words correct. Instead of saying uploader, he says uploaded. Like, this is very poorly put together, and it is very wrong. This is the very definition of fair use. He's not using your full video, A, and B, he is using clips in order to provide commentary and critique, and he dunks on you, showing the clips to enforce his points and talk about his points with. So it's just wrong on every possible level, and he filled this out in like 3 seconds. Like, he gave the quickest answers possible as if he was trying to just scribble his way through a test in school, like a quick quiz. It is poorly done, very haphazardly thrown together. It seemed like he was very much in his feelings and tried to take down the content that was making him upset, and now you look like an absolute fool, and you've ruined your reputation even further, Brent, if such a thing was even possible. Somehow your audience of children are actually being aware of this now, which is the last thing I imagine you wanted to happen with the drama. You're just doing all of the wrong things here. You fucked up. You should have just moved on from it, apologized for it, and been done with it. You made a terrible response to this whole thing, trying to give context to it, where even in that you make yourself look stupid. Like, you played this terribly. You played yourself and you look dumb. Luckily, Dumpy's channel I don't think is going to get deleted or get in any hot water from this situation, so that's good, but it is really frustrating to see yet another big creator like Brent Rivera try and bully people around by abusing the copyright systems on the platform that have been broken for a long time. That's always going to be a big fuck you from me for people that do that, so very awful shit, Brent, or whoever is representing Brent here. That's about it. See ya. The title's not clickbait. I am actually suing U.S. immigration. I'm sure a lot of you already know the reason why, but let me catch you up to speed for those of you that might not know the lore. So, hop on in. Let me take you on a little adventure here through this infuriating journey of dealing with U.S. immigration department, and in particular, one whippets-addicted, bedwetting homunculus agent there that absolutely just had a grudge against our esports organization, Moist Esports. I swear to God, if anime was real, I'd have enough rage against the U.S. Immigration Department to finally go Super Saiyan. I cannot stand how corrupt that agency is. I've already made 2 videos having a conniption about it and losing my mind like a caveman who discovered fire for the first time, but what I discovered is just pure, rotten to the core, blatant corruption. I've explained the situation in great detail, but I'll give you the very short explanation for it. Our esports Apex squad consists of 3 Australians and 1 American. The 3 Australians were denied entry into this country multiple times over the course of 6 months. One of the reasons they gave us was they didn't believe they were as highly ranked as we stated they were, even though we gave them all of the leaderboards, the official standings, and they could also just Google that if they didn't believe us. But we even had an EA official, one of the highest ranking executives at EA, lobby for us and write on our behalf about how important our team is to the esports for Apex because we are so highly ranked. And US Immigration didn't believe that that guy was a real authority. He thought he was like the fucking Satchmo or something. Like, the guy didn't exist. They just wiped their ass with that guy's entire resume, just writing him off as some kind of make-believe EA cryptid. We fought a losing battle against US Immigration. The reasons were so fucking silly, and it prevented our team from coming into the country, which upended our entire plans of having them here for the Split 1. Luckily, we got them into Canada. They played all of Split 1 in Canada, and they finished second. So that means they qualified for the biggest tournament, which is the Apex LAN Major, which is happening right now in LA. But since we were denied so many times, they couldn't actually get to LA, which left us with only one option, which I was fucking freaking out about in the last video, where we had to release our team. Because they couldn't come to the US under our umbrella, the Moist Esports umbrella. We had to release them for them to even have a chance at playing at that LAN. But boy howdy, wouldn't you know it, that didn't work. They were denied ESTA visas. If any of you are foreign and have ever been to America, you know what an ESTA is. It's like a 99% success rate with getting an ESTA visa. Almost no one gets declined. You have to be like a notorious terrorist to get your ESTA visa declined. Fucking Osama bin Laden might have even been able to get an ESTA. That is how easily accessible those are. Yet, 2 out of 3 of our Australians were denied ESTAs. So only one of them, Imti, was allowed to come in on an ESTA, which means he got here while the other 2 couldn't. That's inexplicable. Why were 2 of them rejected, but Imti's was accepted? They were in the same boat, and yet for some reason, it was him that was okay, but the other 2, no, they're a fucking danger. You guys are trying to smuggle in Romulans or something to take over America from the inside out. The land of the free and the home of the fuck me in the face. Like, that is inexplicably stupid. Like, if all 3 of them got rejected, then maybe they had found something, but no, that didn't even happen. They rejected 2 out of 3. So what the fuck could the reason for that possibly be? We speculated it's because they reapplied for ESTAs even though they still had like a little time left on their previous ones, so maybe that flagged it in their system. But that might not be it because MT still got through but the other 2 didn't. It's stupid. It's super stupid. So that made even bigger problem because getting denied an ESTA means you're basically shit out of luck. So we were going to have to play, they were going to be playing this major with only 2 out of 3 of their players and no coach because 2 of them just couldn't get in. So we were pretty much out of options. By this point, our team hadn't been playing together for fucking weeks because Waltzy and Kyle, the Australians that were declined, were still unable to make it into America. So in a last-ditch Hail Mary effort, we applied for B1 visas, which I think probably some of you have heard of before. And in order to do those, that's an in-person interview with like the actual embassy. And to be able to actually talk to somebody here is huge because when you're dealing with US immigration, you're talking to soulless androids that do not want to be there and do not do their job at all. But we were able to set up appointments for a B1 visa interview for both Kyle and Waltzy in Lisbon. So we had to fly them over the course of like 3 days, mind you, from Canada to Lisbon to sit down for that interview. They nailed the interview. They got their B1 visas. We then had to fly them from Lisbon to America, all in the span of only a couple of days. And they finally touched down in this God-blessed patriotic country 2 days ago, where they could finally play together as a team. So as you can imagine, since they hadn't played together in so fucking long, the cohesion was a little rough around the edges. Because US immigration slapped us so hard, a biblical smackdown, to try and ruin our chances of winning this major, of which they are one of the top competing teams in the tournament and one of the favorites to win it all. US immigration did everything possible to make it unwinnable. And yet our team is defying fate. We played today, our final group, and we were able to not only place first on the day with 62 points, but we were able to lock down winner's side. I keep saying we. This mysterious squad known as Not Moist was able to, against all the odds that US immigration stacked against us, lock down winner's side for tomorrow. And I couldn't be more proud of this group of gentlemen, of which I am not associated with on any paperwork whatsoever. They are not our team. They literally are not our team, but I am still very proud of this group. Through all of this adversity that was entirely unnecessary, unwarranted, unjust, and, dare I say it, potentially illegal, they have still risen to the occasion to perform so fucking well. I want to show you clips from that, but as the title of the video would indicate, I am suing U.S. immigration. We, Moist Esports, are suing U.S. immigration. We've talked with our lawyers and they agree that this is very mysterious how it ever even got to this point. It seems like there were quite a few no-nos that were committed here and some protocol that wasn't followed and a lot of just big red flags, like some big problems. And it just really seems like the U.S. immigration agent handling our case either didn't like us or just really didn't feel like doing their job. That's kind of the impression we're getting, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest some bad things that were afoot here that really made it fucking impossible for us to get our players into the country. And we eventually had to drop them, which is of course a huge blow to our organization as a whole. So we are suing them, and you know what I've learned through this lawsuit process? It turns out that there is corruption built into the U.S. Constitution itself, where even if we're successful in beating the U.S. immigration in this lawsuit, they cannot pay us out any damages, of which there is a lot. This has been a super expensive process, and there's also so much lost income here because there's so much money on the line for this tournament, as well as there's so many potential eyes on our organization, as well as all of the legal fees. It's so much money that went into this, all of which was just burned thanks to U.S. immigration fucking us. And no matter what happens with the lawsuit, they will not pay us back a penny at all. Now, the biggest thing that can happen from the lawsuit if we win is they overturn their decision of rejecting the Australians, which is great. That is a happy ending for sure. But it was alarming to learn that the U.S. government is not liable for any of these damages that they were directly responsible for us, in regards to us. That's kind of crazy to me. So what possible incentive do the workers at U.S. Immigration have for even doing their job in the first place if no matter what happens, they don't suffer any losses? So it turns out people sue the U.S. Immigration Office pretty often, and it doesn't look like they fight that frequently or fight that hard. Very rarely does a U.S. immigration lawsuit go to trial, apparently, because they're more than willing to just settle because they lose nothing. They lose nothing by not doing their job. They can't lose money. All they do is just overturn a decision, which I guess is super easy for them, perhaps. So they just have no problem settling. So, what possible reason is there for any of the workers at U.S. Immigration to even take their job seriously? We also can't even go after our agent in particular who mishandled this case, because to do that, we would have to pierce the corporate veil of the U.S. fucking government. We would have to go through Uncle Sam to get to that agent, which is not happening. That is an unwinnable battle. So the individuals are protected as well. So let's say you had an agent at U.S. Immigration that's just racist. By all possible definitions, he's just racist and is declining people because he doesn't like their skin color. Well, too fucking bad. That person is probably not getting fired because they don't seem to care, and you can't do anything against that person because they are protected by U.S. immigration blanket. And U.S. immigration isn't liable for any damages. The best they'll do is overturn a decision. So you're just kind of shit out of luck across the board. It's worth suing U.S. immigration to get that decision overturned if we win, but I am stunned at how deep and rotten the system is. It is so fucking broken. It is a joke. It is a joke. But anyway, I can't get into specifics here. I'll just leave it at all of these, more general statements about this case. I'll of course keep all of you updated through this legal process. But for now, let's end on some good news. Because like I said, our team, even in spite of all this bullshit, has popped off and secured winner's side going into tomorrow. I would love to see all of you come out there to support our squad for the watch parties. I'll be streaming it here on YouTube as well as on Twitch at Moist Critical. So please stop by, cheer on the squad, give them your energy like a giant spirit bomb. And let me just show you our final game for the day where we actually fucking steamrolled every squad and secured winner's side. Okay. Holy fuck, yeah, get the fuck out there. Nice flush. Please, knock him. Nice. Good Arc Stars. Flush. Oh, he's so low. Yeah, just push that. Just fucking push that.
Sitting in the cart. Smoke right here. I'm gonna run out. The guy on the left, please. No, let's run.
Nice, knocked.
I'm not. I'm sliding with you.
Good shit. Hey,
Yes, looking down the hill.
that's 4 points. We got 100. All right, all right. Now let's get some insurance.
We need to make sure we.
This is so sneaky. This is devilish.
I'm scanning.
Yep, here we go, here we go, here we go. This is the perfect third party time. How did we not down him? Nice, Waltzy.
I got one of them really weak. I'm
Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, it's a different team. He's so low, finish him! Nice, alright. Swap, 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 get the fuck out, get the fuck out. Oh, nice, this is good points, this is good points, this is good points.
down low ground. Come up the hill. Okay.
That was such a good call! Aggressive calls! Finally, let's go!
Our nut is God's spot.
That is when we do our best work. Aggressive calls.
I think the team's fighting right here that we can do.
Disengage. Guild knocked one, good shit, good shit. You don't have to fully commit. Come on, get that bat off, get that bat. Oh, fuck! Oh god, okay, 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 okay. There's so many teams here now. Just survive for some extra placement points, Waltzy, please, God. No! Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. What the fuck? How? Waltzy! You fucking madman! You diabolical scoundrel! He did it! Holy shit! A reset! A fucking reset? In this day and age! Oh my god, there's so many! Get out, Waltzy! Fuck, please! Yeah, just push him off, just push him off, push him off, push him off. Yeah, just relax, just relax. We can just farm some easy placement points here if we just don't overheat.
I'm making the cure. Getting a barrel down. Getting a barrel down.
Oh my god! Let's fucking go!
Okay, so getting rid of this crap so I can place it
Do it! Kill him! Kill him! Do it! Do it now!
on our roof again. Can I skynate these guys? I don't know. Maybe.
How many grenades do we have? Oh, Jesus.
No tags, no tags, no tags. Okay, man. We're still in. Scanning, yeah. Here we are.
Yeah, fuck, the nut is still here. It's the god nut!
Well, there's a team north. That's one thing. I think we can kill them. Come with me. Can we swim together, please?
Well, hold on, wait for the bat, wait for the bat. We don't have to go yet. Just wait for bat. Alright, now go. Now we can swing it. That looks like a good arc star. That pushed them off. Nice.
Ulting now, ulting now, ulting now.
The thermite got. Nice. Ticking.
Good casticle, good casticle. They're gonna run at us.
Yep, they're gonna run at us. Just methodical play. Very methodical play. Let's go, boys. Come on. Fucking come on. Please, please, please. He's so low. He's so low. Nice, Waltzy. Nice, Waltzy. He's got two. That's 2 knocks. Nice! Fucking huge! Ah, they're going ballistic! Yes! And we're all red again? And we still have God Nut? Yes! It's all happening! Flesh! Holy shit, Waltzy's deep. But I like it! Nice, guild knocked him.
Yeah, they're going around, they're going around. Wait, you don't know. Pull me back.
Yeah, just go back to Nut.
Top three. I can't mature. There's a team evacuating. There's a team evacuating. Maybe going for our nut. No, it's a duo. It's a duo. It's a duo. It's a duo. We killed that third. Team up here.
That's true, Waltzy did kill their third.
Landed right here. No, they landed. I'm healing.
Indoors, indoors, indoors. Take it away, Waltzy. Man, imagine if he just got 2 knocks off that Q. That'd be fucking crazy. Yeah, just smoke him out. Just smoke him out. Are they gonna have to move before us? I think so. I think they're gonna have to move before we do. Come on, MT. Come on, MT. He's so low. Oh, fuck that grenade. Please, Guild. Please, Guild. Yes, Guild! You're so clutch. You're so clutch. Above you, above you. That's fine. Hey! We'll take that. What a finish. What a finish. Alright, great day. That should secure winner's side. I think we're locked. We really only needed like 3, and I think we got like 30. That was a fucking heater. They dropped that full meat on him there. That was big. That was a big one. That was a Keanu Reeves tied to a chair moment from Knock Knock. You came into my house and you fucked me. Yeah, I think 118 should be set. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I think we should be set. Oh yeah, another 12 kills, second place, 21 point Stinkarooski. Yes, sir. Fucking stink maxing out here. Love that. So that's winner's side, baby. Winner's side secured. Where did we finish on the day? We had to have finished first. I'm pretty sure we got first on the day here.
To make the difference. Let's see as we look at our series.
I keep saying we, but it's not my team. The Not Moist squad, whom I've become a huge fan of. 62 on the day, first place. That team's they've got that X factor. No, their logo's pretty similar to ours, admittedly, but it's a little different. We are locked for winner's side. There isn't enough points left for any teams to pass us. So we're good. We did it. We locked winners.
Apex!
Faulty!
Gotta do a better job next time. I am here with one of the greatest.
The caster
players,
is
not to
afraid
mention
being
the
next to a man
strongest
that
player
big.
probably in the
God, look at
ALGS
Waltz, he's a
history.
monster.
Waltzy, it's been a heck of a year for you guys. You guys moved from APAC to NA. How's the transition been?
Honestly, it was a lot of fun, to be honest. Picking up Guild and taking on like a way harder region was just like, I don't know, it's like something that you kind of dream of, you know, moving to NA and playing against the big boys all the time. So it was definitely fun. That's what I'd say.
Tell them about the American dream. How much do you love being on American soil?
Changes, right?
Huh? How great was that,
You've
right?
had to overcome a lot, right, over the past couple weeks. How have the boys been for that?
It's definitely been like ups and downs. Obviously visa issues and stuff like that is just unnecessary pressure just leading up to LAN, but I think we coped pretty well, and I think as you guys saw today, we're still the same team that we were a couple weeks ago, so I think
Amen.
we're doing well.
A
Absolutely
fucking man.
built different. I mean, old org owner Charlie is watching right now. Do you have any words for Charlie?
Just big love, man. Just cannot stress enough how accommodating he has been for us, and genuinely, like, everyone at Moist has just been a rock for us. You know, this was a very stressful situation.
Was.
They did the
Past
absolute
tense, not
most for us,
currently.
so I can't say thank you enough.
Absolutely.
Was.
Crowd, make some noise for one of the
Past tense.
best in the
They are not our
world.
team right now. The man's trying to get deported. Jesus.
Thank you, peeps. Always
What a fucking day,
pleasure
though.
to see what you
What a
got
day.
going on. Wherever we send the camera.
Hello, my friends. Happy afternoon to all of you. Christmas season is upon us, as I'm sure we all know, so please don't forget to leave out a joint and lighter and glass of milk for Santa Claus as he wiggles his fat ass down your chimney to deliver your Fortnite skins this year. Today, to get into the Christmas spirit, I thought I'd share a story. It's a story as old as time itself. I'm sure anyone out there can relate to it. It's a story of when I first tried to suck my own penis. All men have tried it. There's 2 types of men in this world. Men who have tried to suck their own cock, and liars. So obviously I have tried before. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on the podcast, but I figured I'd make this entire video dedicated to it because I keep getting emails asking if I suck my own penis, and Twitch chat comments have I sucked my own penis. So let's just tell the whole story start to finish the way it was written by Homer in the Odyssey. So, to set the stage, I was probably around like 13 or 14, I'm not exactly sure when. And I was just starting to refine my palate and get a taste for what I liked from pornography and titties and stuff on the internet. And during this time I was very religious, so I was kind of fearful and ashamed of watching porn. I thought anytime I even touched my wiener, I was giving God the middle finger and he was ashamed of me and sad and he'd frown, so I didn't do it all that often. but occasionally the mood would strike me right, and I'd Google image search for boobies and butts and vaginis, and, get very excited looking at these things, give it 2 thumbs up, and sometimes even save it to favorites on my folder. But anyway, one particular evening, I was extremely horny. I was Googling boobies left and right. I was like fucking Professor Xavier jacking into Cerebro. I was looking at boobies all over the place. I could see them all over the internet. And man, I was just really fucking feeling myself. I didn't jerk off or anything though, because like I said, I thought jerking off was a bit too far in the eyes of Christianity, and Google Images was tame enough where, I'd be forgiven. So I was looking at these images, and I eventually said, this is enough. I went into the bathroom. I was going to take my shower. I was still sailing full mast. I was hard as a fucking diamond. And man, I was just so horny. I would have fucked my own ass if I could. But anyway, I'm standing there super erect in front of my shower, and I look at my wiener and I'm like, damn, that's my fucking winky doodle right there. It's going in my mouth. But I was never a flexible guy. I could never throw my legs behind my head and start nibbling on my ball sack or anything. I just was never flexible at any point in my life. But for some reason, I got the idea that I could absolutely accomplish the sucking of my own cock. So I attempted. I get like halfway down, and then I damn near need life alert because I thought I was going to snap my spine in half going for this advanced contortionist move. So I'm just locked in this fucking demonic pose, looking like Schmeagol admiring his precious in Lord of the Rings. And then I start to worry, like, damn, if I die here, the authorities are going to find my body looking like some type of sexual deviant. This is going to be the worst way of going out. I'm not even going to have like a cool going out story. It's just the obituary is going to read, yeah, he died doing what he loved, attempting to blow himself or something like that. He broke himself in half going for a self-blowjob. That's not like cool at all. But I still wanted to keep trying. I wasn't deterred. I really thought I could pull it off if I just kept giving it my all. I started to get like anime inspired, like with the power of friendship and by never giving up, resiliency, persistence. And if I get real angry, I'll go Super Saiyan and suck my own dick real quick. So I kept trying. I probably tried for in total maybe like a minute, but it felt like an hour. And it just wasn't happening. I knew it wasn't happening. And then I decided it's time to pee, but I never really adjusted myself. I was still looking at my dick as it was looking at me. We're making eye contact. I was staring down the hole of the one-eyed snake there. And I started to, fire on all cylinders to pee. And it's a little harder to pee with an erection. It takes a little bit longer to travel up the urethra. So I had a little bit of time here. And it wasn't until the pee was about to reach the point of no return where I'm like, damn, I'm about to golden shower myself. My face is looking right down the barrel of this loaded gun. So like a fucking Matrix move or like a superhero move, I start peeing and I dodge it. I lift my head back up and then I just start fountaining it over myself, and I'm safe, I'm dry, I don't get pee in my face or anything, but I almost did. The point I'm making is, yes, I've tried to suck my own dick. It did not go well. God did not bless me with the gift of being able to suck myself off. And I'm sure most men probably can't do it, but there are some select few champions out there that can. And don't let any man tell you they haven't tried. I promise you, nearly every single man on this planet has tried to suck their own penis at one point or another. You don't have to be embarrassed. There's so many of us out there. Come home. Tell your story of sucking your own penis to friends and family to let them know that, yes, you're human. Yes, you've tried. Amen, brother. Take it easy, everyone. See ya. Last night, I had a little trouble falling asleep. I think what I needed was a good bedtime story. So, I turned to Reddit, just cruising around, perusing, see if I could find anything that'd give me the yawns and help me go night-night. But I found something extraordinary. Something so stimulating, I stopped any attempt at going to sleep, and I just sat there bewildered by what I had just read. For at least 40 minutes, I just sat in silence, truly stunned, like a child who had just watched his first episode of Chris Angel's Mind Freak. My brain was blown out my ass. I couldn't imagine a world where this was real, but all of the evidence pointed to it being a genuinely true story. I did eventually hit the hay, and now, a full 9 hours later, I'm still thinking about this, so I figured, why not share it with all of you? Perhaps this will have a profound effect on your life, or maybe it'll do something to help motivate you to not be like the guy in this story. It's a series of text messages between a man and a woman. And that's all I'll tell you for now. I don't want to get in any spoilers. I want you to come into this as unsuspecting as possible. Let's dive in. Previously on Dragon Ball Z, the two people in this text conversation were close friends for about 9 years. The Reddit poster is the woman in this story, and her male friend here had recently professed his love for her in a pretty creepy way. The feeling wasn't mutual, so it led to a bit of a disconnect between the two of them, and in an act of desperation, the male friend calls in the cringe artillery and starts bombarding her with memes, to which she finally responds, "Hey, I appreciate the memes." Real quick, I'd like to come in here with a PSA. I recognize that in the current climate of things, there's a lot of people that have lived their entire lives online without any actual social interaction, so I want this to be a teachable moment. Don't send memes as some kind of last-ditch Hail Mary. Like, if you let something rip and it's not reciprocated, spamming memes isn't going to salvage the situation, it's only going to make it worse and even weirder. Her saying, "I appreciate the memes," is just a lie. No one's ever going to say that. Those words have probably not left the human being's mouth ever. "Ah, good morrow, sailor. I really appreciate the exquisite memes you've shared with me today. I was a little perturbed with our last conversation, but now that you've sent 1,000 memes, I see you've got a good heart. Thank you for this." And I'm speaking from experience here. I'm very knowledgeable in this field. I'm the authority on this matter. I've told this story before, but I'll just briefly repeat it. The very first girl I was ever flirting with and exchanging text messages with was back in high school, and she did not feel the same way about me as I did her. And in my weakest moments, I turned to the dark side and consulted the Sith Lords, and was advised to try and maybe like send goofy memes and ASCII art, because that was big back in the day. So I did. And guess what? It didn't fucking solve anything. It just made it even worse. I know how uncomfortable that must have been for her. So yeah, that is not the right play, to just start spamming memes and shit. But anyway, she continues the message by saying that she's only ever thought of him as a close friend and never really viewed him in a romantic way. So when he professed her love, it made things a little weird. They grew distant, they grew a bit hostile, but she thinks they can be friends again just as long as it's very clear that there is no romantic feelings in this relationship. She's just laying down the brass tacks and making things very clear, to which he responds, "I certainly had my head on backwards, but as my friend, I really think you're fucking adorable, and every trip I've ever taken with you is so fucking precious. I've heard of a Japanese word called shibumi, and it's basically authority without dominance. Call me a simp, but I really think you have that." Code red, he's not taking no for an answer. Jinkies, we're going too deep. He just busted out shibumi. Jesus Christ, we're in the in-game now. Lord help us. He continues to spaghetti dump here for the novel that he's writing her. There's steam coming off of the touchscreen pad as he's writing. The most important takeaway here is a very specific line, a buzzword that gets dropped that I think is very important that we highlight. He says, "Sometimes it feels like my chivalrous interest with you is underappreciated or just unappreciated sometimes." The reason I point that out is because I'm pretty confident that the word chivalry is used exclusively by creeps. I don't think there's been a documented case of a normal person saying chivalry, especially not in this context. It's just like an immediate red flag word to drop, especially when saying that my chivalrous interest is underappreciated, it's not valued enough. It's just some certified weirdo Redditor energy. Like tipping the hat, "M'lady, it's no problem, you're welcome for holding the door open for you. Chivalry isn't dead, am I right?" I'm the perfect example. No, of course, I'm just kidding. I jest. Chivalry can't die, because to die, it would imply that it was ever alive in the first place. Only a living thing can experience death, and chivalry is not a living thing. It's an idea, more of a social code, per se. He continues on, and then eventually tells her that she should like one of them so he doesn't feel crazy, to which she says, "You're not crazy, I just need some time to think." Which I think is a perfectly reasonable response to all of this, but he gives her no time to think and immediately just comes back to, please, let me find favor in your eyes." I'm assuming he heard that in some kind of like indie song at some point, so he tried to throw that in here to see if it'd work. So he's going full-blown Robert Frost now, even then drops a picture saying, "Daydream with me," and it's like the sun rising. So it's getting very emotional in here. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because it's him once again just begging for any kind of reciprocation, to which she just keeps saying she just needs some time to process all of this. But he's extremely impatient. His foot is fully on the gas and there's no turning back now. He is full throttle invested in all of this. He's using every possible cliche line imaginable, but he's not finding any favor in her eyes. It just keeps going. "You're valid, never really heard the extent of why I'm your friend," so now he's like interrogating her. "Why am I your buddy? Why am I your pal, huh? Tell me." I could tell you all day why you're my friend. Your voice is fucking music. I think you're brilliant. Just a brilliant person to be around. Really wish I could hug you. Fuck. This hurts. And again, she reiterates, I need time to think. I will reach out when I'm ready. And now we've finally gotten past the introduction here and we're entering the climax. Welcome to the wacky zone. He once again gives her no time to reach out or process any of this. He reaches out pretty soon after everything, only a couple of days, and says, so is there any chance as your friend I could send you something explicit? She says, what do you mean? And then he goes, NSFW, which I'm sure all of you know what that means, but I'll break it down anyway. Not safe for work. Of course, she wasn't expecting this curveball, so she says, are you trying to make a joke right now? And then he goes, no, kind of a gamble. I will say this is a historic moment. You are witnessing the worst gamble in history. Congratulations, we all got to be a part of this. This is, by far, the absolute worst possible fucking gamble you could ever make. This is like betting 100% of your life savings on me getting taller. What the fuck are you, I don't understand how you think an out-of-nowhere nudie is going to somehow win her over and, somehow solve all of these problems. I just can't even understand that mindset, really. It just doesn't compute. Okay, I tried all the lovey-dovey, really mushy-gushy stuff with the favor in your eyes, your voice is like magic or music. It didn't work. So let's try something a little more primal. Wiener. What about penis? Eureka! This might be the answer. Let's try it. She's once again just trying to make sure she fully understands the lunacy going on here, so she says, are you asking me if you can send me something sexually explicit? Respectfully. What a gentleman. A fedora tip to you, my gentle sir. That is sophisticated. Very respectful. Milady, doth thou wish to gaze upon my meat? And then he sends her a dick pic with his pinky out while holding it. An incredibly interesting play here, as if somehow his cock was going to hypnotize her and make her fall in love with him. So she eventually responds by pointing out how weird this whole interaction has become. She still only ever viewed them as friends and will only ever view him as a friend, and that she's very disappointed that he can't even respect that she wants some time to herself to process this entire weird interaction. She also drops a bombshell at the end by mentioning that she's currently in a relationship, so that was a big plot twist. This goober is doing all of this to a girl who is not interested and also in a relationship. The odds couldn't be more against him. Now, she used a word at the end that's about to change the entire course of this interaction. She said, it sucked when you went all incel on me towards the end. That word, I had a big voice crack there, that's how powerful that word is. That one word ruffled this guy's feathers so much. You're about to see a full-blown ballistic breakdown from it. I respect that. Also, if I'm an incel, you're toxic, so let's not name call. She's toxic because she doesn't want to fuck him. Why is that even in your argument, that I can't get someone? I can. You choose not to. That's fair, but you didn't get to call me an incel because you decline. You go out of your way to say it. Why is that? Label me as anything else, for real. It's foolish for you to argue something like that. She gets taken off guard here, saying hey, whoa, pump the brakes, Buster. I didn't mean to offend you. She says, I never said you couldn't get someone. What do you mean? She never said that. He is now just projecting some insecurities and reading between the lines on shit that doesn't exist. She just said his behavior was that of an incel or something. And he keeps going. You should know I'm anything but a little dick incel, so out of here with that shit. Again, she never even pointed out your penis or anything. She didn't call it small. Where is this coming from? He's fighting ghosts. I'm not even gonna pretend that's valid. You're with a fucking beta cuck to begin with. Maybe that's your type, and maybe that's why we aren't together. Have fun with that. The mask has come off. He is unchained, unhinged, and unhappy. Your boyfriend's a beta cuck loser. That's the only reason you and I aren't together, because that's what you're into, beta cucks. You couldn't handle an alpha male testosterone titan like me, a real man who cries while he texts. She then goes on to say, look, if you find me to be toxic and all of this awful stuff, okay, then, you shouldn't be upset that we're not close anymore. And to this big message, he just responds by saying, I'll see you in hell. And then she says r/nice guys, which this very much is an r/nice guys moment. You know, keep in mind, this is still only a couple days after the whole poetic, allow me to find favor in your eyes, miss. Your voice is music, sweet music. And now it's, what an excellent take on a 7-year waste of my fucking time. To which she responds, so you're just waiting around until I'd eventually date you? That's on you, man. She's absolutely right. That is entirely on you. This dude played the long game, almost an entire decade of pretending to be her friend in the hopes that eventually you'll get to fuck her. I guess was the plan. That is a long commitment to a deep cover operation to stay in disguise, faking friendship, hoping that eventually you'll be able to have sex with her. And then he says, how was I supposed to know you're only interested in half men? I've never even seen that term used before. This guy's pulling all kinds of Insano-style phrases out of his ass now. I spent 7 years just waiting for you to notice the difference, but I guess I bet on the wrong fucking horse. This goober spent 7 years pretending to be her friend, hoping that somehow she'd fall in love with him? This is craziness. This is a longer time spent undercover than Rob Lucci and the gang during the Water 7 arc of One Piece. Like, this is outrageous how long he committed to this ridiculous, diabolical plan. And now he's just full anime villain mode. I'm over you. That's why I asked if you needed a visual definition of the word endowed, because I bet you're never going to get that with the life you choose to live without me. Motherfucker, I grew this dick for you, you ungrateful clod. We have to pause here for a moment. Wow. I grew this dick for you, you ungrateful clod. That is one of the most powerful sentences I've ever had the pleasure of reading. What does that even mean? That's not even possible. How could you have grown your penis for her? Was there no dick there to begin with, and then you just started, planting the seeds and then taking care of it like summertime gardening? Like, what does that mean, you grew it for her? Is it a laboratory experiment like the Cybermen? Like, I don't understand. It's just such a bafflingly amazing sentence. She's also stunned, saying, I refuse to believe that these messages aren't satire. And then that sets him off even further. This entire relationship is satire. A joke. Your interest in men is a joke. The wambulance is coming in hot. He's Squidward, you're Squidward, I'm Squidward, we're all Squidward. This whole relationship satire, it's all a joke, you're a joke. Fuck you. My interest in you is a joke. This is the first time I wanted to show someone my dick because I hate them. Fucking brilliant. r/nice guys, these nuts. She waits a while and then says, I think enough time has passed and I just genuinely want to know if you've had any remorse for the shit you said to me or if you truly believe it was all valid. And then he responds 7 hours later saying, let's find out if you're still seeing the Hat Man first. I don't know what that means, but then he comes back 2 hours later and said, I'm over you. You're wasting your time. So he's trying to flip this around on her like, you missed your opportunity with the golden goose. You missed your opportunity with the alpha. I've moved on, you harpy. I don't need you anymore, harlot. Listen, I've matured a lot. You clearly haven't. So you're wasting your time trying to talk to me now. You had your chance, you blew it. I'm sure you're kicking yourself now for this, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But then just to finish it off with the cherry on top, he quotes from before where he was offering to show her his wiener and says, I still mean this if you need clarification. And then comes back and says, except don't even bother asking for nudes. I have a girlfriend. Okay. I mean, this is quite the ride. What an adventure. She eventually just says, you know, what's wrong with you? We were friends for almost a decade. And then you go into this shit. Which is a reasonable response. Like, how did this happen? We have been friends for 10 years. We've known each other for so long. Where did this come from? It is crazy. This whole situation was wild. And also, I'm calling fiddlesticks on that last statement from him. I don't believe he has a girlfriend. If we go back to chapter 7 of this meltdown, he said that she was the first girl he wanted to show his penis to. So, I'm under the impression he's a virgin. And I don't think enough time has passed between those messages and these that he would not only lose his virginity, but then also have a girlfriend, especially given all of the behavior we're seeing exhibited here. So, I think he lied about that. That was probably just once again some kind of Hail Mary to make her jealous. Like, hey, listen, Toots. Got a girlfriend. Stay off of me. Can't send you nudes anymore. You blew it. Nope, can't do it. Sorry. That's on you. Yeah, you'll regret this for the rest of your life, clearly. Sorry. Have a girlfriend. Even though it's most likely a lie. But yeah, that's all there is to the story here. Overall, I think we can all agree that nice guys really do finish last. It is insulting that these two didn't end up getting married. This guy is a real catch, and it's just a shame to see that it didn't pan out. But yeah, overall, dropping the sarcasm, I actually feel really bad for the woman in this situation here. This is someone who was a close friend to her for a fucking decade, only to then find out that that close friend was actually just a complete piece of shit, loser, degenerate, who was only being her friend, trying to have sex with her down the line. I can't even imagine that kind of betrayal. That must have been fucking awful. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to share this because I've been thinking about it like all day. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Today I want to show you something that will undoubtedly scare you, have you trembling in fear, wetting your britches. And no, it's not a picture of me without a beard, but it is something equally as terrifying. AI! AI technology is advancing at a rapid rate, and it's reaching levels only thought possible in science fiction. That experience you just had of your heart sinking from my masterclass in jump scares is the natural reaction to AI. It's showcased that the flesh is cringe in machines of the future. Pretty much anything humans can do, technology can do better. AI can do better, rather. And that includes entertainment. I have been glued to AI and the entire industry that's bloomed from it for years now. I have been like a moth to a flame following each and every development and new AI product that's come out because it is fascinating and at the same time a bit startling. Now, I think it's naive for people to write off all AI as evil and saying we should ban AI outright and never pursue it. I think that is such a dogshit way of looking at the technology. As with every new innovation, there is good and bad that comes with it. It's some certified goofy goober goofball shit to just write off all of the good things AI can do for humanity and focus instead on only the bad things they can do. I'm not here to get into the nitty-gritty of like the pros and cons of AI. I feel like you should be able to immediately recognize some of the incredible things AI can offer, especially in the medical field. But again, that's not what today's topic is. Today I want to show you and talk about a viral clip on Twitter that's going around that has to deal with AI in the music industry.
You might notice that I sound like Kanye West. No, Yeezy didn't record a voiceover for me for this video. I didn't learn how to do impressions. This is AI.
So let me come back to my original voice for a second because this is crazy.
The caption of this video says that it'll change the music industry forever, and that's 100% accurate. This technology will forever change the entire landscape of the music industry. It's important to realize that AI technology, especially when it comes to voice models like this, are still very new. And they're already advancing to a point where they're starting to get pretty goddamn convincing. And right now the main usage is just shit posts like having Joe Biden and Donald Trump playing Overwatch together and experiencing gamer rage and shit, or making goofy AI generated tracks. But this technology has huge implications for the whole industry going forward when it comes to music. And it's already advancing very quickly. I made a brief mention of my own AI voice that's been getting used on YouTube pretty often about like 3 months ago, where they had me singing Rap God. And I was like, damn, that sounds pretty good, but you can easily tell that it's AI at some points because words get all mumbled and jumbled. It sounds like I'm overdosing on Xanax sometimes. Like, it's clear that it's not perfect, but it can and most likely will be in a relatively short period of time. So in this example with his Yay voice filter, you can tell that something's a bit awry there. It doesn't really sound 100% accurate. It sounds a bit glitchy, like something's wrong there. So you can tell it's not actually Ye speaking. And he also goes 10 seconds without mentioning Jewish people, so you know for sure it's not actually Ye. But if you're just hearing that, you'd be raising an eyebrow. Like, you would have to second guess, like, oh, whoa, was that actually Ye?
Now all you have to do is record reference vocals and replace it with a trained model of any musician you like, which is exactly what I did. I found this Kanye style beat on YouTube. I wrote 8 bars and I'm gonna record them now, and then I'm gonna have AI Kanye replace me.
So before showing you the results of that, I would like to mention that he did covers of popular songs with this Kanye voice model, and they sound very convincing. Even knowing it's AI, it is pretty fucking convincing. Now, how this affects the music industry should be obvious, and he explains it there. You don't really need the artists to come in and do full songs anymore, and they don't even have to write the music themselves or perform it. They can just give you reference vocals, and right now, there's services where if you just have a minute of uninterrupted audio from anyone, it can make and train a pretty decent AI model on it that sounds pretty good. Now, imagine that extended to a professional level where, holy shit, it's going to sound very close to the real artist. That's alarming. You'll never know if the music you're hearing was actually created by humans or just AI. AI is actually extremely good at creating songs themselves. There's entire channels dedicated to just AI-generated music, and it can do pretty much every genre. And that even includes, like, metal. There's actually some pretty fucking hardcore AI-generated metal tracks out there right now. So, for the music industry, you could have AI make all of the songs and only rely on reference vocals. So you wouldn't even need to, like, pay an artist to perform or make an album. You would just pay an artist to come into the studio one time, or maybe even a handful of times if you really want, like, a perfect model, to record these reference audio samples, and then they would just use that forever to make full albums based on that. And that artist would never actually make the songs themselves. They'd just kind of be the face of it. Meanwhile, AI is doing all of it. And not to sound like a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, but I really do think this will end up being the reality of the music industry in the future, because it'll just end up being cheaper, like more financially viable for these major labels. Instead of hiring like bands or artists to make the music and perform it, they'll just save money by having AI do all of it and then just using the voice models they've trained. Because as this technology continues to develop, it's going to be easier to use and cheaper as well. So that's just my bold prediction here.
I got a fantasy that's beautiful, that's dark and twisted, but I attacked the whole religion all because of my ignorance. What was I thinking? That was some bitch shit. I lost Adidas, but I'm still Yeezy. Back in the kitchen, man, I'm a genius. Boys in the hood, just like I'm easy. Kanye, Wheezy, Southside of Chicago, life ain't easy. All praise be to Lord Jesus, Donda, please rest easy.
I got a fantasy that's beautiful, that's dark and twisted, but I attacked the whole religion all because of my ignorance. What was I thinking? That was some bitch shit. I lost Adidas, but I'm still Yeezy. Back in the kitchen, man, I'm a genius. Boys in the hood, just like I'm easy. Kanye, Wheezy, Southside of Chicago, life ain't easy. All praise be to Lord Jesus, Donda, please rest easy. Alright, let me cut it there,
Pretty spooky stuff, and I think it's understandable. A lot of people on Twitter were pretty unsettled by it. And I also agree with quite a few people on Twitter that pointed out that it's pretty diabolical to put a bar about Ye's deceased mother in here and then have AI Ye rap it for you. I think that's pretty weird. But it does lead me to something else I'd like to briefly mention, even though it's not directly related to the AI in the music industry per se. It is just AI voice models in general. I've talked about this a lot, but going forward, as these continue to become better and better, you can have these AI models say anything. So pretty soon, when you hear like audio recordings that are leaked of politicians or movie stars or something, you're going to have to take all of that with a grain of salt, because pretty soon all of that's going to be very easily faked. I actually made a video showcasing some AI voice models for Obi-Wan Kenobi, for example, where he was talking about Ahsoka's orange pussy and how she was one of the finest meat Jedis, meat saber wielder Jedis in the entire temple and stuff like that. Like, it'd be very easy to just have these AI models say anything to try and get people in trouble or try and start shit online. Like, it could go easily beyond shit posting, where it's just like jokes, to a point where, you can really kind of fuck someone with it.
And keep in mind, this is the worst that AI will ever be. In just a few years, basically every popular musician will have multiple trained models of them. And also the UI, the front end of this, is all going to get a lot simpler.
Again, he's 100% right. We are currently in the worst stage AI will ever be. It's only going to get better, and significantly better. It's already getting huge steps forward every couple of months. It just gets more and more mind-blowing what AI is capable of.
You're going to be listening to songs by your favorite artists that are completely indistinguishable. You're not going to know whether it's them or not. And I'm just starting to think of all the good, all the bad that's going to come out of this. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, so drop those below.
Oh, I'll let you know what I think, all right. I'll give you a piece of my mind, and it won't be a comment. It's a whole video. I think there's not a lot of good that comes from the AI voice models in the music industry in particular. I don't see many positives. Now, I know there's people that will probably try and spin an argument that it's great because now you can have deceased artists still releasing new tracks thanks to the AI technology. So, for example, Michael Jackson already has a few AI voice models that are pretty good. So you could release new Michael Jackson tracks. But I would argue that's not a good thing. Like, that to me is kind of fucked up. He's dead. He can't consent to having new tracks come out post-mortem here. It just feels so creepy and disgusting, like fucking his corpse like a necrophiliac for the sake of making money off of new tracks from his name. It doesn't feel right. The artist is gone, and the music they made should rest with them. That's the music they poured their heart and soul in. They made that with their own blood, sweat, and tears. And to dig them up with these voice models and have them releasing tracks that they had no part in making is just, I think, wrong. I don't think that's a good thing. To me, I just really feel like that ruins and belittles all of the hard work they put into their career before they died. It just kind of dismantles the whole legacy, because then there's new tracks coming out that they didn't make and they might be shit. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of that. Let me give you another example, one that pertains very personal to me. Linkin Park. I love Hybrid Theory and I love Meteora. Chester Bennington has passed away, unfortunately, and I would be extremely upset if they started to use AI voice models in order to have Chester Bennington deliver vocals on new Linkin Park tracks that start coming out. They have recently released 2 new tracks, but those are tracks that were actually recorded by Chester himself. So those tracks still have the very human element to it that I can appreciate. So if they, 5 years from now start releasing new Linkin Park tracks with Chester Bennington doing the vocals, I wouldn't like that. I really would feel like that'd spit in the face of all of the incredible work that he had done throughout his career. So I don't see that as a benefit, and that's like the only argument I could see people making for a good thing that can come from the AI voice models in the music industry. Everything else I think is just negatives. You'll have significantly less people entering the industry because they have to compete with all of these mega corporations that are just churning out these massive mainstream hits that are all generated through these AI voice models, from the most popular artists of all time. It'd be very difficult to compete, and most people aren't going to get signed to a label because it'd just be cheaper to use AI in the first place. So I just don't see a whole lot of benefits to the music industry for this kind of AI implementation. Now, that's not to say that I think it should be banned. I'm never really on the side of banning things, especially when it comes to stifling potential innovations. Maybe I'm just a little short-sighted in potential benefits that this technology could have. Like, maybe if the artist themselves wants to start using the AI voice models to help complement their work, or even, weave it in with their own, personality inserted into it, I could see that maybe working. But again, I just don't exactly know. But overall, I don't think it should be banned, but I also don't think it offers anything super beneficial to the music industry as a listener of the music. I only see the financial benefits to the companies, which I don't really give a fuck about the companies. My heart's not breaking for Universal Music, who has billions of dollars to spend and now just can cut corners using AI technology to fuck their artists even harder. I just don't see a lot of great things with it, but I do want to highlight the technology itself because holy shit, I cannot believe how quickly all of it is advancing. This AI technology is unreal, and I can't even imagine where it's going to be in the next couple of years. So just wanted to talk about it a little bit again, and that's really about it. See ya. It's been a little while since the last time I sat you down at the fireplace with my bathrobe slightly ajar to tell you an embarrassing story from the period in my life where I've LARPed as a fucking mysterious anime character. This was around the time I was like 18, 19 years old, so like freshman, early sophomore year of college, and I've told many a pathetic story from this sad compendium of miserable social ineptitude, and there's one I haven't shared with you that I thought I'd share today. This was actually the first date I ever went on, like first official date. I'll just give you a brief lore update for those that haven't seen any of the other videos. Back in early college years, I thought it'd be great to reinvent myself as a mysterious anime character in real life. It worked for the anime characters. Girls were always trying to constantly like gobble on their meat. And so I thought, well, if it worked for them, it could work for me. So I wanted to be like super unique. I wanted to wear a chain with my favorite video game disc on it, Psychonauts. So just be like a fucking chain with Psychonauts on it. I also refused to talk to people. So if people talked to me or asked me questions, I'd respond with like moans and grunts instead of words. And it was really goofy shit. Like talking to me would be like talking to an NPC in Banjo-Kazooie where they just respond with that's how I would pretty much respond to shit, or just complete silence. I have no doubt a lot of people on campus probably reported me to authorities as a potential threat to the university in those early year and a half, however long I spent doing that. But I eventually grew out of it. But during this time, I actually did get a date. My first real official date. Now, while this was my first date, it wasn't like I was a completely kissless virgin. I was a virgin who had been kissed once. It was a dare. A girl was once dared to kiss me because that was seen as such a punishment that in a truth or dare game, they made it a dare to kiss me. And I was like, fuck yeah, this is my time to shine. Probably pre-came and shit my pants at the same time. But anyway, I managed to get this date because a friend of mine from high school actually invited me to a party. We hadn't seen each other in quite some time, and they invited me out to go drink with them. At the time, I was completely straight edge. I didn't want to touch drugs. I didn't want to touch beer. I also wasn't even sure I ever wanted to lose my virginity. I was starting to think it might even be best if I didn't. But they invited me to this party, and I was still in this mysterious anime phase, and he invited me to play beer pong with him, and I was like, well, as long as I don't drink. And he's like, fuck it, Charlie, I'll just drink for you. Just fucking play with me. And I was like, sure, let's go. So we were playing, and then eventually his friends called him to do like a keg stand or something, so I needed a partner, and a girl hopped in to play with me. And I didn't say a fucking word to her. And I guess that must have been cool enough because she started talking to me, and then I eventually like mumbled out like, do you want to go to the beach? And she said yes. She gave me her number, and we set up a beach date for the next day. And my God, I don't even think I slept that night. I remember that night after the party, I went back to the dorm and I was just busting out hundreds of crunches and like bicycle crunches and shit, trying to sculpt out my abs speedrun style. I didn't eat. I only drank a ton of water, just trying desperately to get my six-pack to pop out a bit more. I was a lot leaner back then because all I focused on was being like ripped, but my arms were super skinny, so I just kind of looked like an actual poorly drawn anime character physique-wise. Nowadays, I'm just actually fucking jacked. But back then, I was like, all I need is abs, and girls will want to fuck me real good. So I'm in my dorm for hours just fucking doing an impromptu P90X routine till the sun comes up. And I text her, she doesn't respond, I start to panic, I texted her again, still didn't respond, I'm fucking freaking out, I'm like, oh my God, I've ruined it, I fucking blew it, holy shit, it's all over, she hates me, she probably reported me to the police because I was creepy, oh my fucking God. I text her again, I fucking triple texted her, literally the worst possible thing you could do. She finally responds just saying she was sleeping, and then I realized that that's probably about par for the course because it was like 9 a.m. I was like, it's fucking like Saturday, and I'm texting her at 9 a.m. like 1,000 times. It stands to reason that she might just be sleeping in. Fucking having a manic episode in the text messages there at 9 a.m. and then she still agrees to meet with me. She's like, yeah, we're still down for the beach, let's go. So we meet at my car. I play my boner jams, which was a real risk for me because the music I listened to then and the music I still listen to now isn't really popular. It's mainly like metal and shit like that. And luckily she likes that music. In fact, she even knew some of the bands like Cybreed. She likes Cybreed, which is still my favorite band right now. So that was cool, but I'd never done small talk or anything. So I didn't know how that was supposed to go. And I think she was picking up on that, so she took the initiative to talk to me. So she asked me, hey, did you have fun at the party last night? I said, nope. Which is a great response because, I mean, that's super cool. Like, hey, this guy is so goddamn badass. He didn't have any fun last night. But I do remember saying the only cool thing about the party was meeting you. I was like, that's kind of suave. So I hit her with that bit of smooth ass cheeks right there, to which she didn't really say anything. At least I don't remember her saying anything. Maybe she had just gotten completely sodden panties and, you know, that's probably what happened. But she continues, you know, standard stuff. What's your major? At the time it was digital arts. This was before I switched. Do you like digital arts? It sounds cool. What is that? And I was like, I fucking hate it. It's just making 3D animations. It sucks. So I'm just constantly doing my best to ruin any kind of positivity. That whole car ride was basically like condensed pessimism on wheels. And so she just keeps asking me these questions, to which I'm giving like the worst responses to imaginable, convinced, like the anime characters I've seen before, that being different or being negative is cool to women, which it's definitely not. But she eventually gets to the dagger. What do you do? Like, she probably assumed I had like a job or something, because she did. So she's like, well, what do you do for work? You know, what do you do? And I was like, can't get into that. It's a secret. Which obviously piqued her interest, because like, what the fuck does that mean? Am I like a CIA spy? Am I a hitman? Assassin? Like, what the fuck is that? She's like, well, what do you mean it's a secret? It's like, I just can't get into that. I can't talk about it. So she keeps poking the sleeping bear. She's like, well, what do you mean? What do you do? Like, it's kind of weird. Like, what do you do? And eventually I'm like, I make videos on the internet. Keep in mind, this is 2013. The idea of being a YouTuber was a foreign concept back then. I'd also never told anyone about this. I never said out loud that I made videos online. I always kept that like my biggest top secret. I never ever talked about it, but in this instance, I was fucking desperate. I was pulling out all the stops. I was emptying my pockets of all the possible fucking spaghetti I could fill on the floor, vomiting anything that might help my chances of getting me laid. I would have told her I was Santa Claus if I thought it would help my chances of getting my cock wet. I was just going all out. Just this once. Just trying. So I told her I make videos on the internet, and she laughed at me, which just felt phenomenal. She thought I was just kidding because I had hyped it up so much to that grand wet fart of a reveal. She was probably just relieved more than anything, because she probably thought I was a psychopath with the way I was answering, but I dropped that nugget of truth on her, and at the time, like I said, this wasn't really anything anyone talked about. Like, YouTuber wasn't a thing back then. Most of the most popular shit was like Facebook pages that people knew. And when it came to YouTubers, most people only knew like the biggest ones. The big one back then that I remember most people talking about was Epic Mealtime. And I also remember even things like I'm Schmacked were kind of big back then. But other than that, there wasn't a ton else that college students would think of when they hear of internet content creator YouTuber. So she didn't really find that all that impressive, and I've never treated it like a job or anything, but I just thought it was going to be a good answer to that question, one that she probably hadn't heard before, and she probably never did hear it before because she just straight laughed at it, which didn't make me feel like my chances were being helped. She thought that I was just making like a joke out of it because I just made it like this hyped up thing, like, no, it's a big secret. It's a fucking government secret. I'm not allowed to say it. If I say it, the government's gonna come fucking kill me. And then I just reveal like I make fucking gameplay and commentary videos on YouTube. So she giggled at that, and then she asked what the channel was, so I showed it to her when we parked. I brought up the channel, and at the time, the channel video that would autoplay was my titty simulator game, which of course was a kind of weird look, so I bring that up. At the time I had like 800,000 subscribers, which is a fucking ton, and she was impressed by the number, but the content itself I don't think she was too fond of, because it was titty simulator, with me talking about fucking honkin' milkers being dragged around by their nipple, and then some of the other related ones were other weird games like don't shit your pants and things. So she didn't really want to stay on the channel that long, but she said congratulations to me, and I was like, well, okay, it didn't really work very well, now did it? So we finally arrive at the beach. Confidence is shot. I can tell that this mysterious anime character facade's not doing me any favors. So we end up just going to like a pretty crowded area on the beach at Clearwater, and just laying down, and she played music with her earbuds in. and I just kind of laid there, you know, pretending like this was productive. Like, yeah, I'd always wanted a tan. I'll just fucking lay here with my ass cheeks hanging out, I guess. Why not? And just fucking sit there doing nothing while she's listening to music at the beach. At the end of it, I just kind of felt like I was an Uber driver who stayed a little too long. Like, she requested a ride, but then I had nothing else to do, so I also just went to the same destination. So we just kind of stayed there for like an hour, and then she's like, all right, I'm ready to head back. I'm kind of hungry. I didn't even bother asking if she wanted to get food with me because I could already just pick up on the vibe here that it wasn't really going anywhere. So we go back, and then she hugged me, and I was like, fuck, it was all worth it. I got a hug. Let's go. Woo! So I got a hug out of it, which means I was a champion that day, but we never talked again, surprisingly. And that's how my first date went. So overall, pretty successful. Got off to a great start, really, in the whole romance world. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. I also think it's a pretty interesting look at how things have changed recently, because back then, YouTuber wasn't even a word in anyone's vernacular. No one had ever really like heard of that before. It wasn't really an explored concept, just kind of like this emerging hobby that some people would pick up on. But nowadays, I think it's like 60% of kids want to grow up to be like a YouTuber or internet creator, which is wild. So in less than a decade, it has completely changed. But back then, yeah, that shit was not looked at too positively. But anyway, I just wanted to share this story because I haven't done this one before, and I thought it was worth sharing. That's about it. See ya. I know my calm, composed, stoic demeanor may not give you any clues or hints at my internal struggle, but trust me, right now, I'm spiraling. I'm falling down a dark path I swore I'd never walk again. Like a former addict who finds the pipe once again, I have found my long since abandoned drug. I have become hooked on reading horrible text messages from dudes trying to get laid again. It's been many moons, and some of you who have been around the channel for a while may remember I've made a lot of content covering horrible pickup artists, as well as horrible text messages with self-proclaimed nice guys who are one gentle no away from letting the demon out and just flipping the switch to a full-blown conniption. Like, the word boyfriend would be, you know, a Winter Soldier event that would have them just go ballistic. And I've made quite a bit of content, both laughing at the absurdity of it, as well as using it as an educational tool, like, hey, don't be like these goobers. But over time, I started kind of petering out from doing that because I just made so much of it, and I stopped indulging in that kind of content until recently. I could only fight the urge for so long. The werewolf is coming out. It's a full moon, and that moon is nothing but fucking cringe. I saw some text messages today that I've just got to go over. Now, before we embark on this journey together, it's important that I let you know that these are two college students. As we go through this, you'll probably assume that it's two 13-year-olds, but that's not the case. These are two college students that worked on a group project together, and now we're coming in after the completion of the project. So, they say, I just emailed Professor the final draft, so we should be good. To which the poster says, yay, and then sends a meme, go team. I really enjoyed working with you. You seem like a very sweet and smart girl, and I'd love to take you out sometime. To which they say, that's very kind of you, but I have a boyfriend. Oh boy. She said the phrase, I have a boyfriend. There is no phrase more powerful in the English language than that. The strongest sentence ever constructed. That's like the nuclear bomb here. I have a boyfriend is a phrase, nay, an incantation, more powerful than Avada Kedavra from Harry Potter. And it's just been deployed. So you can already start to speculate where things are going to go south. He responds by saying, heh, well thanks for leading me on, which catches her off guard. She says, I'm sorry, but I don't think I've done anything to imply I was interested in dating you, to which he responds, it's just funny how you never brought up that you were taken until now. Which is an interesting thing to respond with, because that makes it seem like he expects every girl that's taken to immediately state that upon starting a conversation with a man. Like they need to wear some kind of sign or some kind of label on their forehead that says, currently in relationship, not available, thank you. Try again at later date. Although she does say that she mentioned her boyfriend. Actually, I did. When I was at your house, I told you my boyfriend was picking me up. Which she's able to counter beautifully by saying, I thought you meant a boy that you were friends with. Because why would you go over to a guy's house if you're dating someone? And she says, because you offered to host and we needed somewhere to work on our project together, my boyfriend knew and didn't care because all we were doing was working. I'm sorry if I did anything to give you the wrong idea. And then he says, You let me buy you a pizza. Now, admittedly, I understand where the guy's coming from here. We all know about the law of equivalent exchange thanks to Full Metal Alchemist, and we have something like that in the real world. If you buy a girl a pizza, she is obligated to have sex with you. It's the pussy for pizza transaction. It's as old as time itself. So the fact that he was able to buy her a pizza and he didn't get his winky stinky is shocking. But yeah, anyway, he seems to really put a lot of stock in the importance of that pizza, like that was going to carry them all the way to marriage, like this is a moment she'd remember for the rest of her life or something, that pizza that he bought her. But I'd like to backtrack a bit just briefly. Let's go to the previous chapter where he said, I thought you meant a boy you were friends with, because why would your boyfriend be okay with you going to a guy's house to work on a project? And I feel like that's a dogshit perspective that's not unique to just this guy in this situation. I've seen a lot right now where people work under the assumption that if your significant other is doing anything in any capacity with someone of the opposite sex, it means that they're unfaithful to you and they're cheating. But I just don't really subscribe to the belief that most normal, sane people think that way. Of course, there are extenuating circumstances to that, but in this scenario, and in most scenarios like this, where it's just she's working on a group project with a classmate, I don't know why you'd immediately jump to, she must be a whore who's going behind my back to fuck this one goofball in her class and pretending that they're working on a group project. I just don't think that's something most ordinary people jump to immediately, and in this case, the guy views it as weird that she ever even agreed to go to his house to work on this group project if she was in a relationship, but I just don't understand why that would be viewed as weird. Like, where else are they going to do it? Like, if they go to her place and do it, it's the same problem, right? Now, she has invited a guy over to her house and she's in a relationship to work on this group project. Wouldn't that be the same issue? Or if they go somewhere in public and do it, like a fucking Starbucks or whatever, it's still the same issue. Like, oh, now they went to a public place where people go, like, on dates sometimes to do this group project. So you can always make that argument no matter what. So just, I don't know, it just doesn't compute with me. But anyway, back to the pizza. I offered to split when you told me you were ordering a pizza and you said it was your treat. If you'd like, I can sell you for half of the cost. Yes, I'd like that. And you ate more of the pizza than I did, so you should pay for like 2/3 of it. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty math calculations here. Like, well, actually, listen here, Harpy. You ate more of the pie than I did, so you're gonna need to reimburse me more for it. And you know what? It wasn't my treat, because this Halloween there was only tricks. You tricked me. You lied by not telling me that you had a boyfriend. So give me extra cash for that pizza, you disgraceful harlot. She's being as gentle as possible here. I imagine she's scared of this individual, and she said as much in the comments of the post. She said that she didn't want to, like, get too aggressive back because then she'd be, like, afraid of what he might do. So it's just, like, I understand where she's coming from. You don't want to, you know, poke and all of that. So she's just like, okay, that's fine. And I'm sorry again if you got the wrong idea, but I thought I made it clear that I viewed this as a professional relationship. Well, you didn't. And then he comes back and says, don't leave me on red. So he's getting very aggressive here. He's red in the face. He's steam coming out of the ears. Like, I understand why she wants to, like, tiptoe around this as gracefully and smoothly as possible. And it's something I've said a lot on stream, where in the current climate of things, it feels like everyone's more on edge than ever. Like, I've read so many stories over the last couple of years of people snapping at the smallest things, like even the most minor inconvenience. Like, this is a story I've referenced a lot, but it's one that actually legitimately sticks with me. There was a murder at a Subway where a man shot 2 Subway workers because they went a little heavy on the mayonnaise on his sandwich. Too much mayo was a death sentence for one of the 2 workers that was shot. The other one did survive, but I mean, it's things like that where you just, it's never really worth pushing back. So in a case like this, I understand why she'd want to be really light about it. And I just want to mention that because I saw a lot of comments, like, not really grilling her or anything, but just really kind of wondering why she was being so polite in lieu of all of the aggression from this guy. And I totally understand why she would be. I really do get it. I just wanted to point that out real quick. But anyway, it wraps up by saying, I don't think this conversation is worth furthering, which is fair. And then he responds saying, it's ridiculous you even chose a guy to work with if you have a man. I bet he was upset even if he pretended not to be. Now, she explained this a little further in the comments. She didn't even choose him to be, like, her group project partner. Apparently the way the groups were chosen were people chose topics and whoever had similar topics worked together. So these 2 just happen to have the same topics. It's not like she went out of her way to choose this, you know, benevolent angel to work with or anything. But anyway, I understand this was like a very short text exchange. It's only like 3 screenshots here, but I just think there's a whole lot to digest and analyze here. As we as a species have become more and more isolated, all of our socialization and human interaction comes from behind a computer screen now, mostly. Almost all of our interaction with each other is through the internet. So it's leading to a lot of people not knowing how to socialize or not knowing how to pick up on like social cues, and I don't even really blame individuals for that. But it's led to situations kind of like this, where this guy really views that her being off the market, you know, having a boyfriend, should mean that she shouldn't do anything at all with another guy, even work on a class project with another man. And also, something as simple as buying a pizza shows some kind of romantic interest between the two of them, some kind of mutual romance. So when it turns out that she wasn't interested and it leads to a rejection, it's something that he doesn't know how to handle appropriately. And overall, it is just pretty sad. Yes, it is like equal parts entertaining with some cringe text messages, of course, but at the core of it, there is a problem where people aren't going out in the real world and making genuine human connections. It's all through computers. So when you are in the real world with real humans, you don't really know how to handle things super well. So something as simple as getting like a rejection is a much bigger deal than it used to be. And overall, like I said, it's just kind of sad. I wanted to just talk about these text messages because I got real deep on why. Why would this be the response to something so simple? And, of course, the text messages are very silly, like with the whole fucking pizza side quest thing. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya. All of you know how much I love fun, bad movies. To date, Moonfall is still the most entertaining film I've ever seen because it is a beautiful disaster of a movie. $100 million budget and not a single thing about it is even close to being good. It's amazing for all the wrong reasons, and it is one of the most entertaining films ever constructed by our species. So I have a huge passion for fun, bad films, so I was very excited to see Meg 2 today, because I watched the first Meg. It's nothing special, but it's enjoyable, and it's very silly, and it's, of course, a bit stinky. It's a movie about Jason Statham hunting down a megalodon shark, so of course it's going to be a bit goofy. And Meg 2 was rolling around, and I expected it'd be a lot of the same. Some stinkiness, some silliness, put them in a pot and create a wonderful stew out of it and put a smile on Charles's face. And to a certain extent, it did. But it's also legitimately one of the stupidest movies I've watched in quite some time, and in a lot of ways, it's dumber than Moonfall. And I don't say that lightly. To say something is stupider than Moonfall is a bold claim that you need empirical evidence to back up. That's a claim that's bordering on insanity to say out loud. But I mean it, and I'll prove it here when I break down Meg 2 for you. So, of course there's going to be spoilers here. I'm just going to rip the band-aid off right now. I don't think you're really going to watch Meg 2 for the story. I don't think anyone's going to this film for the narrative. You know, no one's watching porn for the plot, and no one's watching Meg 2 for the character relationship and the overarching plot. A plot that is so fucking simple, I legitimately think Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy made it after eating 5 slabs of buttered toast. It is baffling that this actually even made it into the film. It should have just been a montage of shark carnage and Jason Statham going, "What's up, chum?" and then kicking people into the shark. That's an actual line from the movie, by the way. Like, it would have been better if that's the direction they went, but unfortunately, the biggest sin this movie commits is it is boring for about 80% of it. 80% of this movie isn't spent on megalodons or action or characters fighting against megalodons. For some reason, they made the first 80% a fucking soulless, garbage, poorly written, embarrassing, corporate corruption conspiracy mystery movie. And that's using a very generous term for it, because calling this a mystery in the first 80% is an insult to the English language. It's more like a pistory, because it belongs in a toilet. So, the first 80% is dedicated to explaining the world now. There's a very expensive expedition group that's led by Jason Statham, and they do these deep dives into a trench that has these megalodons roaming around, and they're separated from the rest of the ocean thanks to this barrier that they can't cross. There's a very strong jutsu and the Megalodons aren't allowed to either enter or exit. But this team that Jason Statham is a part of is financially backed by tons and tons of doubloons, so many clams. They have so much money. They have a lot of very powerful people financing it, and they also have a Megalodon in captivity that they're training and raising like a pet to understand a bit more about Megalodons as a whole. Now, the team is about to go on a routine dive. They've done, I think, 26 successful missions or something like that. And this was supposed to be just another standard trip, but things went a bit awry. Now, there's another passenger aboard this ship, this giant, complex, and it's a child that Jason Statham is raising and teaching, and she's a genius. She's a 14-year-old super genius, fucking Jimmy Neutron level intellect, and she sneaks aboard the expedition vehicle with Jason Statham and the team, which he's very upset about. He's like, this is very not good. I'm very disappointed that you've done this. We're turning this ship around. But then they're like, no, we'll just press forward. And so they do. He didn't take a whole lot to convince them. But while they're doing that, that Megalodon they have in captivity breaks out. And do you want to know how it breaks out? Well, because there was like a single metal grate, like a single metal cheese grater that was supposed to stop a fucking Megalodon, an absolute monster. So it just easily breaks through with literally no effort, and we're supposed to be shocked that it did this. I don't understand how, because it was basically just a single piece of construction paper that separated the Megalodon from the rest of the world. So that right there was already extremely lazy to me. They could have had some kind of cool plot, like showcasing the Megalodon being really smart, like, the Megalodon set a trap, it played dead, it went belly up. So when they went in there to check on the Megalodon's heartbeat, it fucking mauled them all and then escaped. Maybe it grew wings and flew away. I don't know. Just anything besides it went through a basically open tunnel that we didn't think about. So as they're going on this dive, the Megalodon that they had in captivity starts chasing them. And they're like, how is that possible? We've got to dive deeper. It's the only way to escape it. So they dive deeper. Then they eventually go into the very deepest part of the trenches. And they're speculating on if they should just abandon the mission because this is already not going according to plan. So Jason Statham's like, should really abort mission. And even the main, base is like, yeah, probably a good idea. This is already totally off book here. Let's just get the fuck out. But the actual owner of the company, the whole enterprise, is like, no, this is a really good opportunity to explore. We're explorers, god damn it, this is what we do. And our Megalodon came down here because she wants to mate. It's mating season for Megalodons, and I'm fucking horny. We're gonna go watch. And they're like, well, if you say so, shucks. So they continue to go deeper into the trenches, and then they stumble upon an underwater base. And I shit you not, for about 10 minutes, I really thought they were about to bring Atlantis into this. They were like, oh my god, there's an underwater base here. This is so weird. Wait, I'm getting heat signatures. There's living creatures on that base. And I was like, oh my god, they're going to do Atlanteans here. Oh, this is going to be incredible. But they don't. It turns out there was a different company, a shadow organization that had the same access to the technology they did, and they had this underground base that this team of good guys, the explorers, stumbled upon. And this is where the corporate conspiracy starts to unfold. They start wondering, how is that possible? We're 25,000 feet deep. No one has access to this kind of shit except us. What's going on here? There's fishy business, and I'm not liking the smell. So then we get to go into one of the bad guys' submersibles, and he's like, oh, they stumbled upon us. There's only one option. And then the guys, there's like a team of 3, and 2 of the guys are in these like underwater, fucking Gundam suits, and they're like mining away at barnacles, and they're like, no, don't do it, wait, no, don't do it. He's like, I've got to do it, they've seen us. I'm like, no, please don't. And he just blows everything up, including himself. He doesn't die from it, spoilers, but he blows everything up in the trenches, which blows up the barrier, like the genjutsu that keeps all of the Megalodons in the trenches. So he blows that shit up. He blows up the heroes' submarines and everything. And then they're in a big scramble because they can't escape now because their submarines are fried. So they get into these high-pressure suits, and they start making the walk on foot from the crash site of the explosion all the way to that base that they identified. Now, just to put you in the right headspace here, it's a fucking snooze fest. And it's already been like 30 or 35 minutes by this point, so it's a slow burn. Meg 2 puts the Megalodons in the back seat. It puts them as like sidekicks. Like they have cameos in this movie basically, because they spend the first 80% with this garbage here. It's so fucking boring. But anyway, the explorers with Jason Statham and the child and everyone else get in touch with the main base like, hey, we're gonna need that rescue submarine. Shit went tits up down here and we need a little help. You know, this one lunatic blew us to kingdom come, you know, blew us to high heavens. Our submarines don't work anymore, come get us. And they're like, we're on it. Actually, scratch that. We can't. Somebody sabotaged our rescue sub. And now you can see all of the complex narrative plot devices coming into play. So then they have to figure out who sabotaged it. So naturally, they check the surveillance cameras. But it turns out our culprit was smart enough to turn off all of the surveillance cameras. But what they didn't realize is they had built in a fail-safe security camera system. So they go and check that. And it's revealed that our man on the inside, our evil person on the good guys team, is a girl named Jess. And she's evil because she wants money. She says that she's doing it because she wants more money than she could ever possibly care about, where money loses all meaning to her. So it turns out what they were doing down there on that base is they were mining rare earth minerals. And I shit you not, when they go into the base, one of the main guys is like, what is this? And he's like, oh wait, this is rare earth minerals. He literally says it's rare earth minerals. And it's like, they're probably using this for superconductors, which is good for quantum computation devices as well as all kinds of transportation. This is very important stuff. No doubt, this one crystal I'm holding in my hand is worth $1 billion. And Jason Statham's like, billion? With a B? Like, I think I'm actually quoting this verbatim. I'm pretty sure I've got this right on the money if you check the script. And he's like, yes, with a B. And then that's when Jess is like, billions of dollars are at stake here. And then it gets even bigger because it turns out Jess isn't the only person working on the inside. The main girl who's financing all of this, the big CEO super powerhouse who gave a speech in the very beginning of the movie about how proud she is of this company, she is the one who's pulling all of the strings. She's the puppet master and everyone else is just the marionette on the strings dancing for her. And she's like, why aren't they dead yet? What's going on? So, I want to pause real quick because I'm probably overstimulating your brains right now. I want to point out a huge plot hole that I can't believe no one on the team recognized. The way that this is conveyed is that this is all part of the plan. What they wanted to do is kill everybody on board that main base, or rather, they wanted to kill everyone on board those subs. That was the plan from the get-go, I believe, unless I missed a crucial detail. But even Jess, who was one of the core team members, advised that they pull out of the mission when the child was on board the submarine. She's like, okay, yeah, things are a little off course, should probably pull out. So if their plan was to kill them, why would she advise that? Plus, there was no plan in place. The only reason this went so wrong is because the Megalodon unexpectedly broke out. None of this was planned or orchestrated. And the only reason there was ever an explosion in the trenches is because they accidentally stumbled upon that secret base and mining operation because they were trying to watch some sharks fuck. Like, all of it was pure happenstance. None of this was planned, and yet every step of the way, that evil lady CEO's like, you know, why aren't they dead yet? We talked about this. You sabotaged the rescue vehicle, did you not? How could they still be alive? As if it was all part of the plan. Even though there was clearly no fucking plan. The whole plot falls apart, like, if you think about it for more than 3 seconds. And another thing, why the fuck would the owner of the company that has the access to the technology, is actively doing dives and everything, why would they even bother having a separate, shady organization that's doing the same thing but then collecting rare earth minerals? Like, they're making billions of dollars off the rare earth minerals, but they could also still be doing that with the explorer team. They could just say, like, hey, we're also going to send a mining team down with you. Like, I don't think anyone would care. This is a completely separate from the rest of the world region where they're just mining rare earth minerals no one else has ever seen or had access to before. The explorer team would actually probably be pretty excited about that because it's more information and more knowledge for them. Like, they get to take in these things and learn about them. So I don't even understand the nefarious need to have, like, an evil group alongside your normal group. you could have just merged them together without any of the evilness. You could have just been like, all right, and now bring me back some fucking barnacles. They're super barnacles. Those are turbocharged magic barnacles. So let's just get a few of those and we can sell them and continue to finance these expeditions. And I don't think anyone would bat an eye. Like, I don't understand what the conflict even was to even have them as a group in this movie in the first place. There's a single throwaway line that I think is what they tried to get across, and it's from Jason Statham. He said that you're doing this for money. So I guess that's what made it inherently bad and needed to be split away from the expedition group, even though all of their expeditions are also for money. Like, they were also a profit-driven organization too. So it was like a really weird dynamic there. And then there was one line from the evil CEO who said, "We can destroy the planet from underneath the trench and no one would ever know. We'll destroy all of it and sell it all for billions of dollars," is basically what her monologue said. And it's like, okay, but also we never had access to that before. So you're right, no one would know, and you're not really destroying the planet. They were literally chipping away some of the, like, crystals on the side of things. It wasn't like deforestation underwater. It was like actually a very small scale operation with only like a handful of crystals. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal, really. So they did a horrible job of showcasing why the bad guys are doing what they're doing in the first place. So now let's get back to the plot. So they're walking from their destroyed submarines and their high-pressure Power Ranger suits to go to their base that they found and then take escape pods to get to the surface. And along the way, things get messy. There's like some deep-sea creatures with some sharp teeth that start biting them. So our people start shooting back with their spear guns. One guy gets abducted by a giant squid and he dies. You don't see it. It's all off screen. Another girl gets eaten by a shark, a megalodon. You don't see it. This is a PG-13 movie, so they don't show any of like the carnage or anything. So pretty much every death in this movie is either off screen or cut away from right away, which doesn't make any sense for a fucking movie about sharks killing people and killing sharks in return. Such a huge blunder. I understand why it's PG-13 because it's more profitable to do that because it's more accessible to people, but it still takes all of the wind out of the sails of every single action moment, of which there is very few in this movie. So they're going on this, journey from their subs to the base. They lose everyone along the way except for 4 people. Of course, the main 4, Jason Statham, the kid, the main guy behind the operation, and then another girl who was a big part of the team. So they make it to the base. Then that guy who blew everyone up cements himself as like the primary antagonist who's going to keep clashing with Jason Statham. So they end up fighting on this base. Jess reveals herself to be the person on the inside who's pulling on the strings. She traps them in that base and tries to drown them, but Jason Statham swims, I shit you not, swims with no gear from the place where they were drowning outside of the base to hit the emergency override button and save everyone. He is swimming with no gear at 25,000 feet. Very few things rather, can fucking survive at 25,000 feet under the sea. And at the very bottom of the list of things that could maybe survive, humans are there. Humans cannot. Fucking everything blows up under that immense pressure. We have never even seen something that deep. And yet, Jason Statham, powered by testosterone and a deep voice, is able to just man mode it and fucking swim like a goddamn angelic mermaid. Just Olympic swim at 25,000 feet deep to save the crew. And they try and give an explanation for it, but I swear to God, I had to wiggle my finger and say, no way, that's horseradish. No shot. Their explanation was something like, as long as he inhales enough water into his sinuses, it will equalize his internal pressure to resist the water pressure and he'll be able to be just fine. I don't have a degree in marine biology, but there's no fucking way, right? Like, there's no way you could inhale enough water into your sinuses to somehow resist the pressure at 25,000 feet deep. There's just no fucking shot, right? Like, I just don't think so. But anyway, he does. He saves everyone. He then fights the main bad guy again down there, who, for some reason, lets Jason Statham live. Jason Statham passed out after saving everyone, and the main bad guy saves him, and he's like, I was in jail for 2 years because of you. I've been waiting for this moment to kill you. And it's like, brother, you could have just let him die in front of you. Like, I'm sure that probably would have been fulfilling for your revenge arc. Or, you know, if you wanted to be more hands-on, you could have, like, stabbed him while he was still passed out. But instead, he, like, wakes him up and then challenges him to some fisticuffs. Like, it's time to get pugilistic. Only he immediately cheats by bringing out a knife. So if you weren't going to actually, like, throw down with honor, why not just let him die? It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, they have, like, a really lame fight against each other, which, of course, Jason Statham wins. They then get into a backup submarine and escape to the surface. And in the meantime, the main base is being raided by the CEO's cleanup squad, who's come like they're a military group who's come to kill everybody so they can keep the secret that they're mining rare earth minerals in the trenches. But because of that explosion kind of poking a hole in that, you know, protective barrier over the trench, 3 megalodons and the Kraken escape. A giant squid, basically the Kraken escapes to these 3 megalodons and like, uh-oh, we've got a problem. But it's not that big of a problem. So instead the military just keeps like shooting people and taking over the main base. And then there's 2 main people there that escape that are friends of Jason Statham. One of them's very cool. His name's DJ. He's got like a fucking Desert Eagle and he's got like pepper spray and a taser. And he's really cool. I think he's probably my favorite character in the movie. So he has some cool moments where he unleashes some martial arts and he starts shooting his Desert Eagle. Like, it's fun watching him. And this whole sequence is kind of enjoyable because finally it's snapping out of this tedious corporate conspiracy narrative that they were trying to drive home. Now we're just getting into some fun action. We have some megalodons that are now finally starting to do something like eat people. We have the Kraken who's on the loose now. So finally, you know, like an hour and 10 minutes into the movie, we're getting something entertaining. So anyway, I'm just going to press fast forward real quick here. Basically, all of the good guys escape the the main base. The Marines are still chasing them. And Jess, the woman on the inside, turns out was the lover of the bad guy at the deep sea. So he comes back, he gives her a kiss, and then the main evil CEO calls Jess, and she's like, Jess, we're going to need to give you a promotion. We're going to make you a hero here because the public's going to hear about this. Somehow. I don't know how, but they're like, we need to make you the hero here, Jess, so we're going to write you a story about how you saved everyone and saved the world and saved the planet. And Jess is like, that sounds great. And then she gets eaten by a megalodon who comes through the glass and kills her right in front of her boyfriend. And her boyfriend runs away. He's like, oh no, no, no. So that's how they get Jess out of there. She was a very important person in everything going wrong, and she probably only had like 4 scenes in total in the entire movie for maybe like 3 minutes of screen time. They killed her off in a really quick, comical way. That was self-aware, though. I'm very certain that was an on-purpose gag to kill her like that. So I don't have a problem with that. But anyway, now we're getting off the main base. We're towards the end of the movie. So the good guys are in a little boat, and they're going towards something called Fun Island. Didn't put any real effort into this, clearly. This movie really feels like it's the first product of the writer's strike. Like, this had to have just been written by people on their off time during lunch that weren't on strike. Like, there's no way an actual team of writers wrote this one. I really don't think so. Or if they did, they intentionally made it as unappealing to everybody as possible because up until this point, it is a snooze fest, and they fucking called this place Fun Island. Didn't even bother to give it a name. So they're approaching Fun Island, like, everyone get out of the water! There's fucking megalodons coming and it's a giant squid! And they're like, oh, it's a load of hooey. You're stupid. We're vacationing. We're having fun. We're not getting out of the water. And then all of the bad guys arrive to Fun Island as well because they all deduced that it was going to Fun Island. So they go to Fun Island. And for some reason, the fucking evil CEO flies in on a helicopter to the island as well. The central point of the conflict with all of the fucking prehistoric killing machines and all of the gunfights against the good and bad guys. For some reason, the evil CEO, who is totally safe and comfortable at her penthouse suite, flies here and just sits in the helicopter. She just wanted to be boots on the ground, like feel like she was part of the team, you know, part of the crew, part of the ship type shit. So she flies there in a fucking helicopter just to sit there and whine. Why? Why? Like, it doesn't even make sense in the context of the narrative. She has no reason to be there, but she goes out of her way to be there. And she's there like this, too. She basically fucking teleports there. Like, I don't know how she got there so quick. But she's there, and then she immediately dies. Because also escaping from the trench wasn't just Megalodons and the Kraken, it was like not turtle monsters, lizard monsters. So there are these like 4-legged little lizards with big teeth that crawl around, and they bite and kill her. They drag her away. So she does nothing. She flies to the island just to sit in the helicopter and die. But not before she has like 5 other horrible scenes where she's in the helicopter and she hears a noise, and she says to the pilot, she's like, Jenkins, go check on that. And it's like, lady, open your eyes. So like he turns off the helicopter and he goes out there and he dies eventually. But it zooms out from the helicopter and there is a dead body right next to the helicopter, right next to the evil CEO, that somehow she didn't see. Like she didn't know, and she's like, Jenkins, I don't know what that was. Go check on it. And it's like, if she just looked to her left, she would have seen a dead body. And how the fuck did someone die there without her knowing about it? Who was it? Sam Fisher on a stealth mission killed this guy? Like, it makes no sense. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And it's not just that body either. There was another body as well right next to the helicopter. So multiple people died around her, and she didn't know? Was she asleep? Is she lobotomized? Like, what the fuck? And then eventually she gets ambushed. Ambush is the wrong word, because the thing literally just slowly crawls up to her, jumps in the helicopter, and drags her away. And we never see her again, so she's presumed dead. So she had nothing to contribute to this fucking movie at all. The entire corporate conspiracy plotline has no real conclusion to it. It's all such trash. It's such trash. I'm kind of jumping all over the place now because the movie itself jumps all over the place. It becomes like an actual fever dream. So trying to remember anything from this film is a Herculean task. So the good guys are on the beach. They see the Megalodons coming, and the Megalodon starts eating people, starts killing people. The giant squid brings down an entire ship and starts, strangling people and killing them, drowning them, eating them. And I shit you not, 2 of the good guys go off on their own side quest, like into the jungle, because there's like a jungle on the beach there. So they go off into the jungle, and Jason Statham and another good guy and the child are still on the beach coming up with a plan. And for some fucking reason, Jason Statham tells the child to go to the lifeguard tower, which overlooks the water. You know, the place with the 3 Megalodons and the giant squid that we're trying to escape from? He tells her to basically go into the fucking water. I'm surprised he didn't tell her to get on the surfboard and, like, start shredding some waves to have a little fun to take her mind off the stress. Like, what is that plan? Like, just tell her to go into the jungle. Like, the only thing that I could maybe try and rationalize here is I'm giving such a charitable fucking goodie bag to the team here, is that maybe Jason Statham thought it'd be more dangerous for her in the jungle because there were some gunshots from the bad guys fighting the lizard monsters. But even still, it's significantly lower odds of getting shot out in that jungle, which is a huge jungle, than it is putting her over the water with the Megalodons and shit. But anyway, he basically just sends her to her death, like, as a prank. She doesn't die, spoiler. But he sends her to the most dangerous place possible. Meanwhile, he himself made little spears with bombs on them, which is something that we've seen him do before. And his plan is he's going to start throwing the spears with bombs on them at the Megalodons, and he's going to save the day and be the big fucking hero. So the side quest that 2 of the people go on is to find the helicopter. They find the helicopter, no problem, lickety-split. And then they say it's out of fuel. How could it possibly be out of fuel? They just landed that bitch. It has been fucking planted on the ground and nothing else. How is it out of fuel? Did it just barely make the trip here? Did the lizard monsters, like, siphon the gas out of it because they're addicted to the gas? Like, how is it out of fuel? So then there's an intense moment where they're, like, scrambling to get the fuel hose, which is right next to the helicopter, conveniently. And they're like, all right, fill it up. And then the lizard monsters are, like, charging them. It's like, no, our precious nectar. We need the fuel. It tastes so good. So the lizard monsters are crawling after him. He starts spraying them with the gas, and they're like, ooh. So he's like, holding them off with that, and then he fills the chopper in between, sprays them, and he's filling the chopper. And then they get on the chopper, and then one of the guys throws a match and blows up the lizards, and they fly the chopper away for literally 3 seconds before he immediately crashes. So, chopper crashes. One guy jumps out, one guy stays in, and you think he's dead, but he's not, because the helicopter, like, basically fucking explodes. The helicopter literally like fucking explodes. So you're like, oh man, that guy died. Rest in peace, man. Godspeed. What a fucking patriot. But no, he's not dead. Like somehow he survived it. So he's just like hanging out in there. So the guy who jumps off is like, I need to save him now. So he like, swims over there and he saves him, no problem. But anyway, I'll just finish up. I've been going on for so fucking long here. This is like an actual moonfall incident here, trying to explain this absolutely disgusting, degenerate plot. So Jason Statham is throwing spears at the sharks, and this is when the movie is finally good. Watching the sharks actually kill people, well, as much as they show, which isn't much of anything, is enjoyable. It's fun. You know, shove popcorn in your face, turn your brain off, and just enjoy the silliness of it. It's fun. Jason Statham fighting the Megalodons is fucking great. Him throwing these homemade spears with bombs on them is really cool. Blows the brains off of one of them after riding a gnarly-ass wave. So a Megalodon jumps up, it misses him, slams down, creates a huge splash, which creates a huge wave, which Jason Statham, fucking Tony Hawk, ramps off of, throws a spear down beneath him, blows the brain off of one of the Megalodons, bang, checkmate. Then Jason Statham crashes his jet ski. Oh, I forgot to mention he's on a jet ski, by the way. Actually, that's a very important part. I don't know what you were picturing without me saying jet ski, but yeah, he's on a jet ski. He's not, like, running on the water, you know. He's on a vehicle. But he crashes, and then he's on the dock, and then the bad guy is there as well. And the bad guy's got a light machine gun, and he's, like, shooting at him, and Jason Statham gets the edge. He stabs him in the leg. He takes his gun, and this is where we get our really cool one-liner moment. The bad guy's like, you've got your gun, you gonna shoot me? And he's like, don't need it. So Jason Statham drops the gun, which is so fucking dumb, by the way, because these are just sharks. You can shoot them, and it will hurt them. That gun would be invaluable as a resource to have. Having that gun would be so fucking helpful to protecting that child you care so much about, and everyone else on the beach that you seem to care a lot about, but for some reason it's like, yep, don't need it. I also forgot to mention that the child who went to the lifeguard tower for some reason decides that she wanted to try and save one person in particular, so she gets on a surfboard and swims out to her because she was drowning, and then she like leads her to the shore. So that was like a tense moment because like, oh, was the Megalodon gonna kill the kid? No, didn't happen, but just wanted to point that out. So he drops the gun, the bad guy's like, I knew you were too soft to shoot me, and it turns out this sneaky bad guy had another gun in his belt pocket holster. So he rips it out, and as he's going for it, Jason Statham kicks him into the mouth of a Megalodon who's going by who eats him. And Jason Statham's one-liner is, see you later, chum. So that was awesome. Yeah, and then I'll just go ahead and wrap up the synopsis here. Jason Statham starts banging a helicopter blade against the surface of the water to get the attention of the Megalodon to get him away from his friends. The Megalodon charges him. The Megalodon jumps up, about to eat Jason Statham, but Jason Statham drops back, points the helicopter blade straight up, and impales the Megalodon, killing it. Now, astute observers will have, well, not observers, astute listeners will have heard me mention that there were 3 Megalodons and a giant squid. So what happened to the other Megalodon and the giant squid? Well, that third Megalodon ate the giant squid, mauled it, because it wanted to. So that's how the giant squid dies. And then the third Megalodon is actually the one that escaped from captivity that they were trying to train. So the main trainer had his like clicking tool, and he gave it clicks to try and let the Megalodon know, hey, it's me, we're buddies, we're pals. And the Megalodon's like, ooh, geez, pardon me, you're right. I didn't recognize you, out here in the water like this. I'll be on my way now. So after a couple clicks, the Megalodon just swims past them and then leaves. That's where the movie ends. So, yeah, that was Meg 2. It was a fun, bad movie at the end, but everything before it was insufferably boring bad. So I didn't love it, basically. But yeah, probably the stupidest movie I've seen in a while. Definitely up there. But I do like the last 20 or 30 or so minutes because finally it's what the movie should be. Fucking silly action with sharks and a giant squid. It's fun. So, yep, that's about it. See ya.